It's the World Series of Sim Racing here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
No contact.
It's some contact. Holds on for now. It's Vincent Soracali's going to be able to hold on. 3 wide, 2 wide. Ryan Bird trying to be the hero. He'll door smack once again in the center of the corner. Figure out how to get out of the way. Vinny breaks down. He breaks down across the line. The 15 wins. One last chance. One last opportunity. He's digging. He's climbing. He's right on the bumper. Blocking going to be made. Will there be contact? Here comes Thompson. Check on the outside. We're going to be blocked, defended. Brian Johnson hoping and will win. Here comes Vincent Soar to the inside, but it's not enough. Brian Johnson wins, and it's going to be the 13th trying his best. He'll hold on, or will he cross the line? It's Cedric Hunter by a nose. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night. Hopefully you enjoyed your off-season. We are back with WSSR Cup Series action. Here tonight is the brand new start of a brand new season, and the drivers are set for a track that's going to give us some great racing action. It's Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Trophy Smack 225 here tonight. And the drivers are set for qualifying. We're immediately getting into some crazy action because tonight we have over 43 drivers trying to qualify their way into tonight's race. 25 drivers are already locked in based off of provisionals, based off of last season and being past champions. But we've got over 25 other drivers that are trying to lock themselves in with just 20 spots open for grabs. Only 24 drivers make the show. 5, maybe even more, will not be making it to tonight's featured race. And we're already getting drivers prepared. They got 2 laps to put down their fastest time. And the top 43 drivers make it in, unless you're one of those provisional drivers that can bounce somebody out. Thank you for joining with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up the booth is Justin Malarkey. And Justin, we're already starting off with qualifying. Drivers are on the cut line, and it all starts here at Atlanta.
Qualifying, like you mentioned, Sam, I can't believe we have so many drivers out there, and as you mentioned, not everyone guaranteed to get in. It's just going to be a battle tonight trying to see who gets into this race with all these drivers out here trying to get into this fabulous WSSR league.
There are so many new things to watch out for, but currently it's Thompson, check top of the board. Matthew Rodriguez going to be second. Some of the new drivers already topping the board for themselves, and a lot of those top drivers are drivers that are in a must-qualify well position. Again, we've got over 25 drivers that are trying to lock their way in as Carl Pooler will now take the top spot. Tom Sinchek with his second lap bounces his way forward. We're not going to know who's officially in or out just yet, but based off how these drivers are running right now, you could say Tom Sinchek's in a good spot to already qualify his way in. Again, 20 spots will be solidified based off of qualifying. And one of our past champions, Brian P. Johnson, doesn't have to worry about qualifying. He's a past champion as well, was inside our top 30 in points last season. But with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in qualifying, Justin, already we're seeing a lot of new faces. Top of the board is Tom Bourne is now up on top of the board with Matt Meir and Brian Noel.
Let's keep looking at that running order. The drivers keep going. We have another one. Look at that. The 17, Chris Stitz, goes into the top, knocking off Tom Bourne. He's got a 31.222. Is anyone else going to be able to get these lap times down? We got 2 minutes to find out here. You want to get on that front row, especially if you're one of these drivers not guaranteed in. That's the best way, Sam, to do it. Get on that front row.
41 drivers have put in a time so far. Almost everyone has to qualify, and Chris Stitz top of the board. Ken Campbell now going to be up to second, and one of the drivers that's fast, we know has some speed, but has to qualify his way in, Steven Stimpian, back after taking a season off for the 88 machine. It's great to see Steven Stimpian back out there on course, but a few drivers of note that are in a risky spot of not making it into tonight's featured event. Tyler Dangler, also Richard Wolsifer, Ethan Smith on the line and possibly missing out, as well as Carl Pooler and Christopher Fail. We've got ourselves a handful of drivers still needing to qualify, but we've got some drivers that thought they could easily qualify in that are on the bubble with 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
And what a track to have to try and qualify in. I mean, this is a super speedway track where the times could be so close. So you're talking, it could be maybe less than a half a tenth of a second separating locking yourself in to not locking yourself in. As you see these drivers getting way below that red line, trying to cut the course as much as they can, Sam.
Trying to cut their way through, as gonna be a couple of drivers sneaking their way in. Justin Forbes, one of the drivers weren't sure if he was gonna make it in, just had a flying lap for the Ford machine. He looks to be good. Douglas Newbigging having a strong run, but we look at the drivers that have already finished up qualifying. It looks like Richard Wolsifer, Tyler Dangler, Ethan Smith, they will not be running here tonight, as Vincent Sora, Ben Caney, they didn't make it inside of our top 43, but they get the provisionals. They're bouncing those drivers out.
It is just all over the place as we have 30 seconds left. Not sure if anyone else is even going to get a chance out there. It looks like the track is pretty quiet, so I'm thinking it might be Chris Stitz here going with the 31.22, going to lead us to the green flag here with Ken Campbell on the outside potentially. Not seeing anyone else out there, Sam.
Great time by Chris Stitz, but looking at the drivers that didn't even qualify inside of our top 43, Tyler Dangler, Richard Wolsifer, they're bounced out automatically. But drivers that qualified inside of our top 43, but because of provisionals are knocked out, it looks to be Christopher Fail, Carl Pooler, they're at risk, as well as Jared Hughes. As we enter into warm-up time, the admins, as well as race control, they're going to be marking down drivers that are out from this race. But already disappointments in the air here, Justin. And this is the fun of having over 50 drivers registering for a league, and only 43 can start a race.
Only 43 can start it. That means plenty of drivers going home. This is going to be a really great race to watch tonight, being full field, 43 cars. The pit row is going to be filled up. You're not going to be able to make any mistakes tonight, Sam. Track position is going to be king, but with 43 cars out there, your options are going to be very limited with mistakes.
Provisional drivers that are going to be getting a spot in, going to be Shane Terrian, Vincent Sora, Ben Keeney. They will be making the show, but they'll be bouncing out a few drivers from a chance to be running here tonight. Highly unfortunate for those drivers as we're entering into warm-ups here tonight. This is just the first race of the season at Atlanta, and this season's got to be a crazy one. Looking at how this field's going to be coming through. Justin, we were looking at the schedule before we went live. These first four tracks going to be tough. We've got Atlanta Super Speedway, Legacy, Texas next week, Martinsville race number 3, and a surprise road course. We're going to Long Beach for week number 4.
Very super diverse schedule. It's going to be really fun for us to just adjust to each different track every week. But these drivers, we saw it last year, they put on a really great show, and I'm expecting it to be the same this year, especially with the next gen car that they're going to be using this year. Should be a very versatile car to get out there on different types of tracks, but it's going to be really fun. We got the road course coming up in Long Beach. Some people out here maybe never even seen that track or raced it. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle that.
It's going to be very interesting as the admins as well as race control have figured out there were 48 drivers that registered for this race, but only 43 can take the green for tonight's 150 lap race. The 5 drivers not going to be running the first race of the season. Carl Pooler, Ethan Smith, Christopher Fail, Richard Wolsifer, and Tyler Dangler. Their night already over before we even took the green.
That is true. Makes you think back to the old days in Daytona with speed weeks. This is how it was tonight for these drivers. You wait all week, all year in that off season. All those weeks getting ready to race, and then before you know it, 5 minutes, chance to go out there, not able to advance. Those guys are going to have to hustle hard next week to get in at Texas.
It's going to be very tough, but as we still are going to warm up, this is the last chance for some of these drivers, get that last little bit of practice, figure out where their pit stall is going to be before we start tonight's race. Again, 150 laps. We will have a stage break. That's new. Coming back, stage racing. And lap 30 will be having our end of our stage, as well as no fast repair tonight, and only 4 extra sets of tires in pit road with 2 minutes left in warm-ups. This is something we've been doing on Thursday nights and on Monday nights. We got ourselves some pick'ems. Who do we think is going to be running in tonight's race and having a chance to win? Well, we'll take a look at them. For myself, I took a gamble. I took a driver that wasn't even officially qualified in. He had to race his way in. I'm taking the 88 of Steven Stimpian. This 88 machine runs well at super speedways. He's done so in so many different leagues. I expect this 88 to be a threat here tonight. Justin, what do you have for your pick'em to have a chance to win here?
I also kind of went with that little bit of gamble. Driver was not locked in, new to the league, but I've raced with them. It's been a long time since I've raced with them, but I went with the 70 of Aaron Smith II. I think he's going to show everyone, hey, I'm a newcomer to this league, but I'm going to bring tons of speed. I think he's fast. I think he's going to do it tonight.
Hey, we're bringing back the return drivers so far in our first 2 picks, as well as we have our producer, Robert Moyer Jr. in the background. Let's see who Robert thinks he's going to win here tonight. He's going with Extreme Underdog, but with a fast team. Sky Motorsports is driver of Matt Muir in the 72. Sky Motorsports, that's Shane Terrian's team, driver who almost won the championship last season, but just a couple of positions, missed out on getting the championship from Benjamin Nelson, who is not running this season. Our back-to-back champion is not coming back for season 9. And now we'll see if we can see that 72 maybe steal the show here tonight. So we went with 3 outside-looking in drivers before even qualifying started. But for drivers that are locked in, we got some threats to watch out for. We got some past winners of this racetrack. We look back through the past year at Atlanta. This racetrack has been ran 2 times in the past, back in season 5 and season 8. And Zach Hall dominated that race back in season 5. They were running in this exact car. It's the next gen. Justin, we've been speed throughing this intro, but we're now in the next gen. This is exciting to be in a new car, a new season, with a new track to start out this season as well.
And I personally love the next gen car. I think it really puts on some side-by-side racing. I think you're going to see it obviously tonight here being on super speedway, but throughout the season, throughout the league, I think we're going to see really good racing, especially with there being such a talent pool of drivers out there. There's names that are so fast that are still down in the 30s, down in the 20s. It's going to be fun watching them come through the field tonight, Sam. This is going to be really interesting all year. I can't wait to watch this as we're getting ready to do the lineup here.
Here is your starting grid for race 1 for season 9 of the WSSR Cup Series. Taking the pole award, it's the 17 Chris Ditz with his teammate of the 15 Ken Campbell. Storm Motorsports storming that front row. Behind them, Sky Motorsports having their own row of Tom Bourne and Matt Muir in row number 2. Behind them in 5th, we see Shane Wyatt, a driver that's teaming up with Steven Stimpian and starting 5th. Larry Yingling, the 3-time champ, will be starting in 6th place. Steven Stimpian going to be in 7th position in the 88 machine. Cedric Hunter, a winner of the opener race in the past. 13 machine will start in 8th place. Brian Noel, a quick driver we've seen in these last couple of seasons, he'll be starting in the top 10 in 9th place. And with Alliance teammates, with the 7 at Douglas Newbigging, will take that final 10th place position.
Going to be 11th and 12th, going to be Justin Hendry, Bronson Stafford. 13th, Brian P. Johnson, previous champion. P14 going to be Joshua Kanada. Aaron Smith, my pick, rolling off in 15th position alongside Nick Crawford, super fast driver. 17th, Tom Senchak and Matthew Rodriguez in 18th. 19th going to be Zachary Hall and Gavin Rogers in 20th.
In 21st, we find James Knuckle in the 99 machine. Trent Jump going to be starting in 22nd position in the 46. And 23rd, it's the 97 of Mike Tellier. In 24th, it's the 12 of Andrew Medlin. In 25th, we find John Forbes in that 25th position. 26th, it's Drew Jua in the 77 machine. In 27th, we find Christopher Wade in 53. In 28th, it's the 6 of Brad Delp. Ollie Fonseca will finish in 24th for qualifying. And finishing our top 30, it's the 34 of Ryan Ferraro.
Rolling off, Next, going to be Justin Forbes in 33rd, Jared Hughes in 34th, Danny Cochran in 35th, and Brian Kelly in 36th. Cody Reed 37th, Carl Pooler 38th, Christopher Bale in 39th, and Edward Scherer Jr. 40th. 41st, Brian McCann, 42nd, Christopher Norris, and rolling off in 43rd, going to be Ethan Smith.
And some of these drivers, Carl Pooler, Christopher Fail, also Ethan Smith, Tyler Dingler, and Richard Wolsifer. Those 5 drivers not going to be running here tonight. Again, they were knocked out by the drivers of Ben Keeney, Vincent Sora, and Shane Tarian. Those are going to be your 43 drivers starting out here tonight. 48 registered for tonight, but only 43 get to start today's race. As tonight, again, 150 laps. We have a stage break at the end of lap 30. There will be no fast repairs for these drivers, and only 4 extra sets of tires in pit road. Justin, we've got an extra lap just to let these drivers take a breather and also allow us to make sure we went through the whole list of drivers before we went green. But Justin, off season's over. It's time for a new season, and already we're seeing some newcomers up front. Was looking at the list. We have a total of 16 rookies trying to race this season. A couple of them didn't make the show, and also we have 14 teams that are running for a team championship. We're going to be seeing a lot of drivers trying to work with one another here tonight.
14 teams. I'm glad you mentioned that to the viewers out here. Just think about that. Super Speedway racing, one of the easiest places to be with your teammate, to get hooked up and get out there and try and go forward. If you have 14 teams, Sam, just think about it. There's just going to be so many strategies out there. I can't wait for this race to start. I can't wait for us to learn all these drivers, all these newcomers. There's so much talent out there. I can't wait for this to get green here next time up.
A massive amount of talent is out there on track. I talked about this a lot in these last 2 seasons. WSSR has kind of turned into the all-star series, you could say, of all the different leagues that Freaky Fast Broadcasting has covered in the past, and having past champions show up. This season, though, we've got a lot of new drivers that were outside of the view of Freaky Fast Broadcasting, such as the Sky Motorsports Racing team with Tom Bourne, Matt Meir, and that team as well. Those are some drivers we have not seen here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Also, seeing the likes of Steven Stimpian bringing over some drivers that we haven't seen in over a year and a half that once was called the drivers in past leagues that we've covered. I'm just shocked to see the amount of drivers that have shown up. We had a thought that this was going to happen last season with the amount of drivers that registered. We didn't get to see knockout qualifying. We finally got to see our first knockout qualifying run in the WSSR. And now it's time to see how the first race for the Season 9 is going to start and conclude. As the pace car pulls off, it's time for some green flag racing. Your Trophy Smack 225 is underway for Chris Stitz, as well as going to be seeing the drivers up front of Ken Campbell and everyone else trying to get in line quickly. Here we go, Justin, as they roar down into turn number 1.
43, you hear him ready going through turn 1. Inside line starting to prevail already. Guys getting down there to the bottom, getting their teammates, trying to find their team. Like we said, 14 teams out there. Get together, start drafting, and try and get to this front and settle in before the lap 30 competition on the stage.
And drivers already trying to give some major bumps and a huge accordion effect up front for some drivers. Who's willing to give some space? I think it's going to be the big talking point, but lap 1 for race number 1 of Season 9. Give it to Chris Stitz in the 17. Chris Stitz had a rough season back in Season 8. Was not able to really solidify himself as a competitive driver for those races. And this season, I'm excited to see what we're going to see from this driver, mainly because new car, this team looks to be strong in the next gen. That's what we're seeing from Chris Stitz and Ken Campbell. Storm Motorsports working well, trying to lead lap 1 and 2.
Well, the 17 has definitely shown his strength in the next-gen car. Like you said, last year, a little bit of issues, but he was one of those drivers that definitely was all he's seen to at least get out there and finish the races. And tonight, right now, he's up front doing what he needs to. As you see another driver making a move to the outside, he got out of that inside lane. That's Thomas Bourne, new driver there, trying to get that outside right there, side draft, getting into turns 3, able to stay alongside him, coming out of 4.
Now it's going to be some teammate on teammate battles as we've got Sky Motorsports on the outside of Tom Bourne getting help from Matt Meir, and Storm Motorsports on the inside. And Tom Bourne's going to lead his first lap for the WSSR career for the 04. We got a lot of rookies that are already showing up front in our top 10. In 9th, we got Russell Stafford. We also have Shane White up here, Matt Meir, Tom Born. The rookies want to show early that they're drivers to watch out for, as up front it is side by side throughout most of the field.
Side by side for sure, and we're not seeing the lane become dominant yet. As you see, pretty much for the first 25 cars, it looked like they were pretty even. Not any drivers deciding to go inside, outside, keeping it somewhat even for us. Right now, these viewers are seeing some great, stable racing for these first 5 laps.
Everyone trying to figure out where they're going to feel the most comfortable at this moment. Currently seeing the outside row looking very quick, but how much are you willing to stay on the outside, as Steven Stimpy and Bronson Stafford go to be side by side as we bring up our first driver cam. It's for the 88 of Steven Stimpian running the inside, and you can see his hands. He's white knuckling it, and the 88 has to. He's in the middle of the pack as we are early on. Justin, these next-gen cars, tire wear is actually something we're going to have to worry about as the run progresses forward.
And really, even with this track, even with it being new, and maybe even have lap 20, 25, it seems like the tires do start to fall off. You might see a little bit of separation, and that could get guys starting to get a little bit of run getting in the corner, maybe trying to force their way up through the middle. Could be very interesting, but like you mentioned, being in the back right there, Steven Stimpian really having a fight on the wheel, trying to make that car handle the air turbulence so violent back there in the middle. You get so much of that turbulent air from the cars in front of the wing just coming off, the spoilers in front. It really makes it a challenge to drive.
As the drivers continue to race side by side up front, it's going to be Tom Bourne, Chris Stitz leading the inside groove. Seen some other drivers that we've covered in the past. Was covering the BRB Cup Series at the beginning of the year. It's the 75 of Gavin Rogers, that champion from the Tuesday series that we once covered. Gavin Rogers getting a taste of what it's like up here in this field. Also teaming up with Gavin Rogers is Jared Hughes. Hughes, though, much deeper in the field, back in 27th position. Also, other drivers returning from past series that we've covered. It's the 46 of Trenton Jump that's out on track, running on his lonesome, currently on his team of Armadillos. Was hoping to have a teammate join with him. Wasn't the case for tonight. At 46, you have to be like a few other drivers searching for allies and proving that they've got some speed out there.
Sometimes not having anyone on your team might be an advantage mentally. You don't have to do what they do. Maybe you just decide to make your moves. Hey, if someone goes with you, they go with you. If not, you figure it out. You find someone else. We'll see how it plays out for him. But at a super speedway racing, you definitely want to have teammates. But I've seen drivers without teammates win, so it could definitely be done.
Seeing a couple of other rookies that are out on track. Here's Andrew Medlin, not a rookie in the other series that we've covered, but a rookie in the WSSR, the 12. Looking for a good run here tonight. Has his teammates up front looking strong with Chris Ditz, Ken Campbell, and currently it looks for the Storm Motorsports driver trying to team up with the 53 of Christopher Wade to find themselves moving forward. And you get a full pack, a full group of teammates in line, especially at this type of a super speedway track. I mean, there is so much power in finding your teammates and sticking very strongly up front.
It is. You see right here, we're on board with the 12, Andrew Medlin. And you can see cars stacked up in front of the 2x2x2. This is the type of track you're not going to get really drivers spread out where you're able to make moves and make passes at will. You're kind of stuck right here, unfortunately. Maybe some tire wear comes in and you're able to start maneuvering. But right now, being stuck here, especially on the bottom, not many places to go to make up track positions here.
No, and seeing everyone side by side, the window of opportunity to try to force the issue to go 3 wide with no fast repair, you really don't have that feeling of the sensation of, I want to go make a risky move to get up front and settle in for now. And I think that's what a lot of drivers are feeling of, if you want to go for the stage bonus points, you push aggressively down to get inside of your top 10. Otherwise, it's just riding along. And so we get done with our first stage. Again, stage 1 will be concluding at the end of lap 30, unless there is a caution between laps 25 and 30. That will count as the stage break for tonight's race. And Justin, looking at the drivers up front, again, a lot of rookies trying to show out that they are going to be fast drivers to watch out for. But 12 laps in, couple of our top drivers from last season as 7 touching the apron. That's going to be watching Douglas Newbegin with a big slide on the apron for himself. Looked like a bad bump, and that just lost the whole entire inside lane for that whole entire corner.
Whole inside lane definitely backed up. I'm surprised anyone from the outside has not jumped down to the bottom, maybe try and improve their position. See if the 7's able to suck back up to the rear bumper of those guys in front of him, as he's going to get a huge run here. He's getting pushed down that front straightaway, trying to get back to him, see if he's able to get those spots back. Is he really starting to get up there? I'm surprised no one jumped from the top lane down there and tried to get into those spots in front.
I think everyone might have been a little bit shocked. 14 laps in, maybe already starting to feel a little bit of the wear and tear on your tires currently as the field closing back in. That once gap that just mounted up a lap ago is completely dissipated. We're back to full 2x2 racing. And right before that moment, I was going to talk on the fact that we've got some drivers that were hunting and hounding and almost found themselves being the season's 8 champions that are mired back outside of even our top 35. We've got back in 36th position, Ryan Kelly. 37th is Brian McCann, last season's regular season champion, Shane Terrian, back in 40th. We got some drivers that are really taking the I want to survive to the end of this race approach instead of aiming for some major stage bonus points to start off your season.
Well, we have some drivers who want to be in the back, Sam, to survive, and now we have guys up here in the middle of this pack looking to make it 3 wide potentially here. Looks like 70 of Aaron Smith, my pick. He's going to be stuck here 3 wide with some drivers on the inside, on the outside of him, 2 wide coming out of the corner.
3 wide, though, going to be in the middle, and we're going to be watching Aaron Smith the second, also Drew Jua and Trenton Jump. Going to be 3 wide for a quick moment as Trenton Jump at 46. He just cannot get off of this wall, trying to find an opening to drop into the second lane. Finally will find an opening for himself, but that was a loss of over 6 positions for Trenton Jump in a blink of an eye where he thought he was going to be moving forward. Instead, it was the opposite direction.
Let's definitely talk about how those guys, they did right there, they got 3 wide for a little bit, now they're back to that 2x2. But Sam, this track is wide enough to run 3 wide at certain parts of it, and then it gets narrow again. It gets wide and narrow. It kind of tricks you, especially on that front straightaway. There's so much room, and if you don't get back to 2x2 pretty quick, it could be troublesome trying to go 3 wide off into turn 1.
Well, speaking about that space on the front stretch, the apron is free game on the front stretch. But a new rule that was just implemented just a week ago to let these drivers know the back stretch, we cannot drop below the red line. Not even the left side tires can go off into the red line to try and make a pass. We must stay on the racing surface on the back stretch from the exit of turn 2 to the entry of turn 3. The apron is not fair game. Only on the front stretch can you go below that red line.
That's great feedback there to provide to these viewers, especially at a track that might be new to some people not familiar watching a type of super speedway at a 1.5 mile track like this, but it's such a fun track. But one thing I noticed, Sam, going into turn 3 previous lap, I saw that 06 kind of push up a little bit in the middle. He got into more in the middle of the corner, wasn't able to pull right on the bottom. Right here, as you see, they're starting to slide up a little bit, not staying on that red line fully, and that kind of, and that outside line, that could be issues if drivers pinching you down.
Yeah, pinching you down, and it's going to be causing some drivers to maybe rethink, trying to go 3 wide if you're in the middle of the field, if you're already seeing a lot of slipping and sliding. But it is go time with 11 laps to go before the stage yellow will be thrown, and the window of the stage even being concluded sooner is just within 5 laps. So these drivers know it's go time to get inside of the top 10. Only the top 10 drivers will get stage bonus points at the end of lap 30, unless we have a caution between lap 25 and 30. Everyone knows it is time to move forward, but the yellow flag for the stage break will not be thrown until 10th place crosses the line. So you could steal some stage bonus points if you find yourselves taking a couple of positions late right before 10th place crosses the line.
Yeah, and they're going to have about, oh, as we see a car pulled down there below the line to 99, I think he might want to maybe, yeah, he's able to get back on the track. I thought maybe, Sam, he was thinking, you know what, I'm not going to be in the top 10. I don't want to risk being up here in case there's an accident. But no, looks like he just kind of got loose coming out of the corner. So these tires are starting to really show signs of wear.
Yeah, that's going to be James Kunkel in the 99 machine, dropping low, going backwards for himself. Moving to the outside lane, though, it's the 77 of Drew Jua, and I'm not surprised by this. I've seen Drew Jua in that 77 machine be aggressive and joining a very aggressive team like Lucky Ducks. I'm not surprised at all. We're starting to see some movement on the outside groove. Joining up with Drew Jua, it's going to be his teammate of Edward Sherwood Jr., and let's try 3 wide, almost for a second thought 4 wide, as the field's getting a little bit more racy as we're closing in to the end of this stage, and that window is talking about, Justin, lap 25 to 30 is going to be a big window because we have a caution between that window. That's the stage. Every driver knows it's got to move forward if you want those bonus points.
And if you want those points, you really have to start moving forward. These cars are really starting to look like a handful. I saw the 75 get a little twitch. You can see the 71 get up there in the wall. He's able to get off of it. But Oh no, and the 61's gonna follow him in there too. And
Oh no, trouble on the inside. A little bit of a ball tap to Tom Bourne. He's going to drop to the inside. They're going to go 4 wide as the 06 goes backwards. They're scattering down almost 5 wide as off the exit of the corner. Just a bad bump and continues to get out of shape is Tom Bourne as he tries to move away in from the lead all the way back to 37th position is Tom Bourne, and Chris Stitz takes the top spot with his teammate of Ken Campbell. Now Larry Yingling, the 3-time champ, is in the mixture for a stage win.
Wow, and Ken Campbell right there in between both of them. Is he going to be able to make a move? Looking to the inside, not going to do it, not going to pull out yet, but this field is really starting to there's getting that space between them, which allows for big runs, and look at this 3 wide going off into turn 1.
Going off into turn number 1, and it's going to be Shane Wyatt stuck in the middle. Outside, it's going to be the 07 of Brian Noel. And drivers up front, I'm circling up the 77 of Drew Jua, the 71 of Edward Sherwood Jr. Those two are willing to make some big moves. They made the outside lane work. They kind of caused a little bit of chaos. Also were assisted with some of the bad bumps up front. And the 77 trying to find an opening. He'll dig down to the inside, trying to get by Larry Yingling. And the teammates of Lucky Duck, they're on the move. They're on the charge. 5 laps to go. And we're in the window. If a caution flag comes out, that's the stage.
That would be the stage, and that's why you're seeing these guys race so hard, because if a caution does come out, they want those points now, as the 71's going to get right up there behind the 77, push right off into the corner. You can see how close they got, but look at the speed he's able to give the 77 and Drew Jewett. Not able to get alongside Christus yet, but going to be trying next corner.
Other strong super speedway contenders starting to move forward. The 13 of Cedric Hunter also on the charge in that pink Hello Kitty machine. He's going to have Brian Noel behind him, past teammates of one another. But it's Drew Jua and the 77, the 71 of Edward Sherwood Jr. giving the bump draft and the teamwork. And they're going to be 1-2 heading into turn number 3. As when they cross the line, it's going to be 3 laps to go left in the stage. Top 10 drivers get bonus points. And right now, the battle for 10th is between the 88 of Steven Stimpian, as well as, oh no, trouble! Edward Sherwood Jr. into the outside wall for the 71. Side draft and hold everyone back. And from a blink of an eye, they go from conquering and holding off the lead group to now going backwards as the 71.
Wow, big difference right there, and all those positions lost, but stage points lost. Most important, I think when the 77 went up to the outside lane to block, the 71 went up almost too late, Sam. It looked like he almost pulled right in front of the car behind him. Not even sure if they made contact on that, but then he ended up sending it right into the wall. But big moment for him.
Huge moment, and now going to be the new drivers battling for that 10th place position. Steven Stimpy and Trenton Jump. Those are going to be the 2 drivers to watch out for. It's the blue and white 46 machine and the green and black 88. That's for the fight for who's going to get the final bonus point, as Drew Jua no longer has a teammate, but he still leads the race. Coming up to 2, going to be 1 lap to go in the stage. Again, it is once 10th place crosses the line that the yellow flag will be thrown by a race control of Steve Benjamin. Jua, though, trying to get every last bit of momentum to hold off the rest of the field as Larry Yingling bounces the outside. This is the white flag of stage number 1. Here we go, Justin. Drew Jua looks strong up front, even by himself.
Oh, he does. He's got that outside line going. But Ken Campbell down on the inside, going to try and get some momentum going down here. He's going to get a big push, but Larry Yingling going to pull to the inside, send it off into turn 3. He's going to go for the lead.
The 3-time champ of the WSSR Cup Series trying to make the late dashing move. The veteran against the rookie, but Drew Jua going to have the help from his other rookie competitor, Bronson Stafford from Sky Motorsports, and it's Drew Jua going to be your stage 1 winner for race number 1 for season 9. Woo, if that's a preview, Justin, what we're going to see later on, this is going to be a fun race here tonight.
And that's a preview of how quick you can lose positions too. Larry Yingling going down the back straightaway. We got excited. We thought he was going to go to the lead. He got up there, got it alongside, and then it faded out. Didn't have the push, didn't have the momentum. Look where he ended up. Unofficially, it shows 3rd. Okay, at one point it had 5th. I thought he lost more positions, but still, Sam, I mean, that just shows you got to time your moves perfectly. That's something Larry, he's a smart driver. He's going to learn what to do on that final lap if he's up in that position to make sure he gets that win.
And here you see where the points will be lying for drivers. Drew Jua going to be your stage winner. Bronson Stafford 2nd, as well as going to be seeing Larry Yingling, Shane Wyatt, Ken Gamble, Chris Stitz, Steven Stimpian, Matt Meir, Edward Sherwood Jr., and Cedric Hunter going to be your 10 drivers with bonus points with your stage. There will no longer be any more stage racing from here on out. It's all about who's going to take the win. But this pit stop, a little bit of a breather, but also some great knowledge to take in. I mean, Justin, you get all that knowledge of tires now with this pit stop.
Exactly. That's what I want to see. Is everyone going to be taking lefts? Are they going to do rights only? Anyone going to maybe do lefts only? Start doing that strategy on super speedways, maybe taking rights here, lefts there on the next pit stop, trying to get that track position. Hard to pass, but tires are very important.
Extremely important, and as drivers are running off a pit road, gives us time to try to queue up maybe our stage winner if possible. We'll see if we can find Drew Jua in the 77. They'll be starting up in third place as we queue up the 77 machine. Drew, it's Sam and Justin up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Well, Drew, you marched your way through the field, taking the stage win. How is this car feeling for yourself, taking that stage win?
Yeah, it feels pretty good as long as you can kind of keep the right rear on it. It feels great. I had my teammate Eddie helping me there. We had the right idea, and he kind of got a little tight in the tri-oval. So, it's nice to win the stage in our first career race, but looking forward to leading some laps up front.
Drew, Justin up here, great job on the stage. Speaking of your teammate, have you had a chance to talk to him? You think he's going to be able to get back up there with you and help you guys stay up there, stay in the front, get these wins?
Oh yeah, he was repairing all his damage, so I would not be surprised if he's back up here in the front. It was fun to be a little bit aggressive. I was trying to get all the way up to the front for the end of the stage, and he helped me when I needed help going 3 wide, and showing that I'll be that aggressive, and should be a fun rest of the race.
Hey, Drew, we can't wait to see what else impressive moves you make here tonight. Congratulations again on your stage win. We'll send you back to your team, and good luck. Hopefully talk to you at the end of this race.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
That's going to be your Lucky Duck Motorsports driver of Drew Jua in the 77. And gotta say, Justin, Drew sounded calm, and honestly, the way he was driving, I don't think I would have been that calm after that stage victory.
He was calm, cool, and collected. The driver that's exactly what you need to be at these super speedways. Driver that got it done in that stage. Now we're going to see what he does over these final 117 laps. It's going to be great. We saw some really good racing here, Sam, and I'm expecting to see some of it maybe cool down a little bit here, not knowing that the stage, we don't know when the caution is going to come. Some of these guys might want to go in some kind of fuel strategy mode, maybe trying to get themselves set up for that final pit stops, get a short one, but we'll see. We're going to be talking about it all night tonight.
As we're going to be seeing from the likes of Shane Wyatt, how is he going to be taking this restart? Going to be the third car on the inside row. And Shane had a couple of scary moments, a slight bad tap to the 06 of Tom Bourne, but he's going to be having the 3-time champ in front of him, of Larry Yingling, as well as Drew Jua, right in front of this 27 machine, as we are about to be back to racing action for the Trophy Smack 225 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The inside lane rolls, but they are very spaced out. It's the outside row that's a little bit closer with one another. It's going to be Bronson Stafford, Ken Campbell, as well as Chris Stitz. We'll see how well they can rip the top, and will Drew Jua be able to hold back this speed, or could it be someone else that mounts the momentum? Because that 77's got a lot of gap to work with, and here we go, the momentum is here.
Going to go from the top, back down to the bottom, try and stay with all that momentum on the inside. Larry Yingling going to get right to his rear bumper, start pushing, get those temperatures up. And one thing we definitely have to talk about is these guys pushing water temperature, Sam. Don't want to risk blowing those engines up.
That's why we've been seeing some of these teammates kind of flip-flopping. Who's the lead driver, trying to give that second car a little bit of space to breathe and be able to keep those temps at a manageable place for themselves. With the front two, going to get a huge bump from the driver behind. Ken Campbell giving the better push to the 61 of Bronson Stafford. Drew Jua, as well as a couple other drivers, have done a great job marching their way through the field. Up 25 positions is Drew Jua, who qualified all the way back in 26th position. Other drivers that are on the move, Trenton Jump, who got in the outside wall for a quick moment, is on his way forward inside of our top 10. Other drivers are outside of our top 10. It's the 51 in 15th position, Vincent Sora. The kid's back. His 2 seasons that we've seen Vincent Sora run, he took the championship, and now will he get his 3rd as the 51 is on the charge here tonight. Also seeing some other drivers that are returning. It's been a blast to see returning drivers. Here's one of the new ones. It's James Kunkel, going to be in the 99. He gave up a ton of positions there late at the stage, Justin, and he's trying to take a couple of these positions back inside of our top 20.
Working hard to get all those spots back. As you see right here, we're on board with 51 Vincent Sora. 180 miles an hour going into turn 3. Right now, these drivers probably not pushing as hard as they were for that stage. Maybe not getting right to the bumpers, but I expect those speeds to get even more. As you see 185, 186 potentially getting off into turn 1. But Sam, like we talked about, with these tires, the harder you go into the corner, you're just heating them up. So right now, if you're able to back in that pack, if you can just lift a little bit, breathe, keep these tires a little bit cooler, maybe have a little bit more tire life left, 20, 25 laps from now, you're able to get back to the front before pit stop start, which is going to be a whole nother ball game because these drivers trying to pit coming off of turn 3 is going to be really interesting.
Extremely interesting to keep our eyes on, as we've been seeing the front group swapping back and forth between Bronson Stafford and Drew Jua on who's going to be that lead driver. A couple of other drivers that have really dropped back in positioning. Talked about the fact that Vincent Sora was deeper in the field about halfway through the stage and has now been able to march his way forward. A couple of other drivers are deciding to continue to stay back. Brian McCann is still back in 40th position, as well as seeing Edward Sherwood Jr. with his damage repairs. He's back in 32nd place, but some of these drivers know how to get it done at super speedways. Here's one of them, the 74 Nick Crawford. He's outside the top 25. He's back in 28th position for this 74 machine.
Well, we could tell everyone for certain. Right now, if your favorite driver is not in the top 20, that doesn't mean anything. He might just have that strategy of staying in the back, avoiding the drama up here, saving their equipment, knowing that they're going to be on a different strategy potentially later to move up, get those spots back. Super Speedway racing, definitely in places where you can make up ground when you need to, as long as you stay in that draft. That's the most important thing. You miss that draft, you're going to be getting lapped really quick.
Very, very quick. As see in red, formerly was in the blue machine, was the 8 machine of Brad McCann. Here tonight, going for this season, swapping from the blue to red with a little bit of gold and black mixed in with the detail work. Brad McCann going to be a driver I think we've got to keep our eyes on this season when we get to some of those other mile-and-a-half tracks. Tight courses have always been a strong suit for this 8 machine. The question is, tonight, when is it a go button for these drivers to really tackle and go forward, because we're about to be closing in on finishing up the first third of this race, and some drivers have still mired back from where they qualified.
That's a great point you bring up, because with these super speedway races, sometimes you want to stay in the back. I think that's the right strategy. But Sam, if we go green and we don't have cautions, how do you get up there? Sometimes drivers in the back assume that there's going to be quite a few wrecks, and then before you know it, 20 of the cars are missing, and they start moving up. If that doesn't happen, how do you go from 35th to the front? Not possible. It's so hard to pass when you're running 2x2 and there's nowhere to go.
I mean, Justin, look at the weather conditions these drivers are dealing with. We just saw the track just light up as we're dealing with mostly cloudy conditions. So the track is going to be getting the sun, losing the sun all throughout this race. But the air temperature, 84 degrees. That's a hot day that these drivers are dealing with here at Atlanta. But it's known as Hot Atlanta. That track is smoking hot at 116 Fahrenheit. And then the wind, not too bad at 4 miles per hour. Staying pretty stable. Fluctuating just a little bit high. The humidity's been low, but it's that track temp, Justin, that I'm most concerned for this field.
Well, that going up just makes those tires even hotter. You heard from our leader, he won the stage. If he wins the stage, he should have the best driving car out there, most likely. He even brought up the right rear tire, just talking about making sure you keep it under you, not heating it up too much so he loses that grip. And we're halfway through the run. They got 30 laps and they were talking about the right rear tire. Right now, we're halfway through this run. Those tires are starting to really lose their life. Maybe in another 10 laps of just track heating up, and you see a little bit more slipping and sliding. And that's when drivers started getting up in the walls late in that first run.
Trying to keep it all together. I want to say thank you to everyone that's joining with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If it's your first time watching with us, well, welcome. My name's Sam Dyer. With me up in the booth is Justin Malarkey, running production for every Freaky Fast broadcast. We've got Robert Moyer Jr., as this is the first race of Season 9 for the WSSR Cup Series. Tonight, it's the Trophy Smack 225 at Atlanta, and Drew Jua still fighting for the lead as our top 8 still side by side. And not a lot of movement has changed inside of our top 10, I would say. They're pretty much the same top 10 drivers that we've had since the drop of the green from our last restart at the end of the stage. And again, a lot of questions of when you want to go and make moves, but pit stops might be the biggest way you want to make some moves, Justin. But when you come in, it's going to be the bigger question.
That really is going to be, because I I don't know if I want to be one of the first drivers to pit down on that inside line, especially if I'm up front in the leaders, because you got guys coming right behind you. Right now, going into turn three. You're going to see a little white line come right on the track, right there. You saw it. That's usually where drivers start to slow down to turn off into the pits. But wow, Sam, when you're going 170 through the corner, you can't just make a turn left and get down there on that flat banking. You really got to start slowing down. And if drivers behind you are not aware and don't slow down, it could really create a problem.
It can be a massive problem. Not being careful, and some of these drivers trying their best to keep it as smooth as possible here this evening. One of the drivers that's known for getting aggressive at super speedway type courses whenever he has a chance, Christopher Norris, mired back pretty deep in the field. I mean, kind of shocked to see this 38 kind of with his team lingering in 24th from the Snowy Desert Racing Group, and trying to take their time is the best goal for some drivers when you're trying to keep your nose out of trouble and running back. A lot of these drivers just settling in the best that they can. Another one of those drivers that we got to keep our eye out throughout this season for a hunt for a championship, the three machine of Ryan Kelly. Justin, I thought at one moment Ryan Kelly was going to take that championship last season.
Oh, that last race last year, that was great. Anyone who didn't see it, go load it right now. It's on YouTube. Watch it again. That was a fabulous race. We didn't know who was going to win that championship. And like you said, Ryan Kelly, I really thought he had it in the bag, and then it didn't work out for him. But the driver was going to be so fun to watch this year, and that was a really sharp-looking paint scheme we got there on the three. But Cody Reed, another driver, he was last year, showed some speed. I raced with him in the trucks. He had a lot of speed in the trucks. Guy who definitely can get up there, definitely make the playoffs, and show what his muscle's all about.
Cody Reed running with his teammates of Cod Monster Motorsports. It's Anthony Gaudio, Cody Reed, Joshua Kanata, and John Forbes. That's going to be another group to watch out for themselves. Here's what's going on deeper in the field, though. Outside of our top 35, we're seeing Ben Keeney in the 98 machine, the 01 Love Bug machine. This is one of our rookies that showed up this season, part of Hula Monkeys. It's going to be the 01 of Matthew Rodriguez. With Matthew Rodriguez is Mike Tellier. They're in alliance with Sky Motorsports. Only 4 drivers can officially be on a team, but there's a few teams that are a little bit bigger that created their own alliances, and one of those is the 01 and the 97 that teamed up with Sky Motorsports. We move back up front because we've got some movement, and it's from the Drop the Hammer team. It's going to be Shane Wyatt and Steven Stippian ripping the top and trying to take the lead from Drew Jua, who's been kind of having a grasp on the lead since the 77 took it, with just 5 laps left in the stage. Well, now it's the 27's turn to get some help from a super speedway master of the 88.
All right, and about 5 laps ago, that 88, I saw him make some kind of aggressive moves there, just really showing that he really wanted to get up there, and I didn't get a chance to say it, so I'm going to say it now. He's definitely a driver I want to watch. He was making some moves that really impressed me. Just simple little zigzagging on the steering wheel, going through the tri-oval at the front stretch right here. Just making some moves. You see him wiggling on the car. He's really getting behind, pushing. I think he's a driver who's going to be up there leading really soon, Sam.
That 88, is he going to be the pusher or is he going to be the leader? And when you have your teammate in front of you, it's more so if you're willing to work with them. But we touched on this also just 10 laps ago. Going to be talking about the engine temps. If you're pushing a driver very aggressively, you got to be worrisome that you're not going to overcook the tires, nor are you going to overcook your engine here tonight. And some other big movers talked about how massive Drew Jua's been doing, moving up from 26 to the lead. That's up 25 positions. Well, a driver that started all the way back in 42nd position here tonight is now inside of our top 5. It's the 51. Vincent Sora is back up front where he has been. And oh no, our first big one strikes. It's in the middle of the field. Tom Bourne strikes and spins around. And the second back half of the field is caught up in the big one.
That's the big accident. We're going to have to go check in on that, see how many drivers got damaged, but definitely saw the 06. Look at that front bumper gone. Going to be heavy damage, a lot of repair. Not going to be how he wants to start his night, especially when he was up there leading earlier in this race.
Driver with required damage, the 99 of James Kunkel, caught up in this one. It's going to be the drivers exiting out of turn number 2. And it's going to be around the 99 machine and the 06. It's going to be on the outside lane we're going to watch out for. And it's drivers trying to give big pushes and bumps, and it goes wrong for themselves. Off the exit of the corner, just trying to give a big bump. and the tap went awry quickly. I believe this is a little bit too far back for the field, but it was an instant reaction for these drivers. Exit of turn 2, bad bump, and drivers went spinning.
Yeah, not what these drivers wanted. I think it's going to be coming out of this corner right here, Sam. We might be seeing it.
I believe we are still a little bit too far back for this incident, but we're trying to find it for our viewers. As drivers were trying to make the inside lane work, and there was a lot of movement. The drivers were protecting their tires. Again, we were 25 laps into that run, and then a small contact got the driver spun around for themselves. There was a incident happened earlier in that stint. The driver getting into the outside wall. That was Ben Keeney, who had issues, and he's going to get those repairs done because of having this yellow. But the drivers that were caught up in that wreck is the 06 as well. Was going to be the 99 caught up in that wreck, and sadly, it doesn't look like we're going to be having the view of that incident. But drivers taking their pit stops, Drew Jua as well as others, but they're going to get themselves some repairs and get ready for this upcoming restart for the field.
Pit stops, definitely want to get in, get those tires. Most importantly, though, fill it up with fuel, get all the fuel you can. So this way, your pit stops can be shorter later on in this race.
As everyone's going to be taking 4 tires in fuel. Now, the fuel was only given 4 sets of tires. There's the incident right there. Finally found it for you in the audience out on track. Is going to be the wreck between the 06, trying to make some big move, but some bad bumps. Caused some drivers to shimmy on down. You're going to see the outside row. You got the 99, 95, and then Gavin Rogers, they all accordion up, and a bad tap off the exit of the corner gets the 99 of Kunkel into Tom Bourne, wrecking in front of the back half of the field. And somehow the field was able to avoid what could have been a much bigger wreck. But you see the late contact there by the 97 machine, the Tim Hortons machine of Mike Tellier, getting a little bit of late contact there.
06, Tom Bourne just in the wrong place at the wrong time when a 99 come off the wall like that. That's just so unfortunate for a driver who was up front earlier in this race. But speaking of up front, we're getting ready for the restart coming here. How about Cedric Hunter up there in the front row? Driver who, a lot of respect for him. He's a great, clean driver. Last season, got caught up in some accidents, it seemed. But right now, he's got that machine on the front row. He's got that clear track in front of him. He's going to be ready to hammer down coming out of this corner, as we're going to be going green next time by, it looks like.
Yeah, getting to have the Hammer Down podcast and team of Steven Stimpian behind the 88 of Cedric Hunter. Hunter, interesting move over the offseason, was part of the Lucky Ducks Motorsports team, moves away, and actually was going to partner up with the Snowy Desert drivers of Nick Crawford, Christopher Norris, and Zach Hall, leaving the 7 spot open. Or Douglas, got to leave up some spots open for the likes of Drew Jua to actually take the spot of the 13. So the replacement, the mover, they're going to be your front row from Lucky Ducks, as Drew Jua ready to take the green here. Also seeing Brian Noel on the inside. Watch out for that inside row. They're going to have a great launch here, expecting a good restart from the 07 and the 77. As you see the Barney Flagman's flag up, green flag is out for the Trophy Smack 225 here tonight. And maybe a little bit too big of a launch, as our top 2 on the inside pull away. It's Cedric Hunter and Steven Stimpian trying to mount up a little bit of momentum here on the outside group.
Looks like that outside group does not have that many drivers up there. Not a guy's jumping down to that inside line. Seeing if anyone's going to be able to pull up there and give Cedric Hunter and the rest of that outside line a big push so they can get back to that front.
Trying to get back up front, a couple of drivers further on back. So late repairs done. Ben Keeney 3 laps down after getting repairs done. Tom Bourne also was in pit road for over a minute in length. Same for Gavin Rogers, as they were caught up in our most recent incident. They're on the lead lap, but they are off the pace from our leaders, as the field is starting to see some more movement of drivers trying to climb their way forward if possible. And still, crazy to think, we still have all 43 drivers still out on track. Biggest field that WSSR has had in a very long time. But you can see in the back half of the pack, here's Gavin Rogers, just caught up in that last wreck, still attached to the draft. This is a big positive for the 75.
Well, the draft is a great equalizer, even with damage. As we see a car get below the apron there, look like the 25 and maybe in front of the 16. Getting below the apron, saw a little bit of tire smoke. The driver's able to gather it back up. But you mentioned all those drivers, 43 cars still being out there, Ben Kimi being 3 laps down. Tim, if we get a couple cautions, this draft is the equalizer. You can have damage and stay in a draft. If this race gets crazy at the end, don't count out anyone because you don't know what can happen with the wrecks, especially at a super speedway.
Absolutely not. Also, I went back and took a closer look at the incident. Almost just brought out another wreck. It looked like a huge checkup, chain reaction on the outside of drivers trying to slow down contact between Edward Shore Jr. to the rear end of the 74. And Crawford sent the 74 down into the apron, spooked the field, but we stay clean and green at the moment. But it is now completely split up. Our front pack now into 2 defined groups. We have our top 20 and the rest of the field trying to mount up some speed to catch up to the likes of Edward Shore Jr. That lead driver going to be the 53 of Christopher Wade. This is that second pack trying to close in on our top 20.
See the difference in these 2 packs. Sam, that's something we talked about earlier. If you were one of those drivers staying in the back of the field, trying to hope that cautions would come out and then you could advance forward. Well, now we got the field spread apart. What if there's no more cautions? With the field being spread apart, this could get a little more spread out. The drivers not racing as aggressive side-by-side, less risk for caution. All of a sudden, that puts you really in a really hard spot to try and gain consistency.
It certainly does, but if there's anyone I'm going to trust, it's these top 3 leading this group. You've got the likes of Christopher Wade, Andrew Medlin, and Shane Terrian, 3 very respectable super speedway drivers as we hop on board with Andrew Medlin. If you remember our days of covering Stars and Stripes, the Medlin cam, well, it's back for the 12 machine as he's trying to push his teammate along to catch up to the lead pack. They're about a second, 1.7 seconds off of that second group. That's the difference between 20th Ollie Fonseca back to Christopher Wade. And every push, every bump, you're trying to close in the gap, but it continues to look like it's actually getting bigger between that first group and the second group.
It could be very hard, especially these drivers back here. They're still 2x2. They kind of need to get single file and really focus on making sure they catch that first group. You don't want to risk there being an issue of not being able to even race in the top 20. As the 24 right there, as he falls back a little bit, that's going to maybe allow for that second group to get a little bit of a toe off of those drivers.
It looked like actually a little bit of trouble in that second pack for a quick moment. Ryan Johnson, Cody Reed, Dakota Moniz got in a little bit of a scuffle. Bad bump as it kind of, again, according back to further back in the pack. Lost the draft, and it's going to be even a smaller group trying to catch up to our top 20 as we see the 24 of Ollie Fonseca trying to stay attached, but that gap, you got to be careful. These next-gen cars, Justin, you can kind of touch on a little bit more, but you can lose the draft very quickly if you've got that big of a gap.
You really can. I'm definitely feeling a little nervous for the 24. I think he's close enough that he's able to get a toe off of those guards in front, but if he just makes any little issue and loses a little bit more time, these cars just don't really punch a big hole in the air like the previous generation car where you could really lag back and then suck right up when you needed to. I think he's fine. Looks like the 24 all he can say can do when he needs to. He has the trust in the car to be able to stay there, but it is scary, Sam. I've had it happen, especially at Atlanta, but had it happen on a restart where drivers kind of checked up and you're one of the last cars in the back and you check up a little bit too much. All of a sudden those guys go and you lose that draft.
Very quickly, you can lose the draft if you're one of those drivers, as again, Ollie Fonseca starting to lose it. Yeah, he's just on the cusp of losing that draft even more, but he's just there trying to, I think, give also spacing, because you never know if someone can make too daring of a move. Like 69 laps in, it's been a nice race so far, and this could be a nice time for us to take a quick break here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We've been giving you 70 laps of great racing action here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the WSSR Cup Series. Tonight is the Season 9 Race 1. Crazy thing, new car, new start. As tonight's race is the Trophy Smack 225. We're going to go side by side so you don't miss a thing, but we'll be back right after this for some more Super Speedway racing. 5 wide behind for fifth.
Oh my, the 5 wide here, this ain't gonna work. They make it last, bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora still with the shot here, coming off a 4. That's it.
It's bottom line, here it comes. Oh no, Carter gets wrecked. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Trinity driving down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes, Cedric Hunter. He does it. He steals it.
But he somehow drove it into the corner to wreck it.
Oh, they wrecked. They wrecked each other. The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they got to be careful. Oh no, the 4 demolishes into 28. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night for the WSSR Cup Series. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up in the booth is Justin Malarkey. Running productions is Robert Moyer Jr. As you're watching the first race of the Season 9 for the Trophy Smack 225, and a blink out for Drew Jua right in front of the field. Will he come back? Right when we come back, the 77 disappears off the exit of turn 4. Still not reconnected as they've ran a half a lap. Justin, this could be a nightmare for our stage winner. I know there's been a lot of big storms going on in the East Coast region, and we might have had our first driver to have issues here, and our stage winner ain't back yet, and he might be fully disconnected now.
Oh, and look at Cedric Hunter. He went down to the bottom. He took place of where Drew Jua was. That's huge. I mean, that changes really everything. He was one of the drivers leading the most laps, and that opens the door for someone else to lead the most laps now. That's unfortunate. Hopefully he's able to get back in. I mean, but right now he's probably going to be at least 2 laps down.
And now going to be seeing Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter going to be your lead drivers as the 77, who is in complete control, still yet officially disconnected from the race, but has disappeared, was Drew Jua. And what a march that 77 had. He had a clinch on the fact that this race could have been his with the way he was running up front. Now no longer. He is now officially dropped from the race with packet loss. That is a nightmare, but that's the kind of random mistakes, random failures that virtually you can have compared to real life NASCAR, real life racing, where it's kind of like an engine fall apart for yourself.
That's an engine failing, a cylinder going down, a tire popping in the middle of the corner. That's kind of keeps it real. I mean, stuff like that happens. That's unfortunate for him. You hate to see it because I think he's a driver who can be really fast all year, and that's just going to really hurt him on the points. But hey, it'll make life up here in the booth for us, Sam, really fun to watch him gain all those points back next week at Texas, because I think he's going to be fast.
It certainly does. And speaking about winning, the 51 of Vincent Sora is a winner. The second most winningest driver in WSSR history with the least amount of starts. Vincent Sora is incredible when it comes to sim racing in the 51 machine. And only 37 starts coming into tonight. He has 17 wins. That's almost a 50% chance that Vincent Sora is going to find himself in a victory lane. And here tonight, the 51, back to where he usually is, up front, leading these races. He's got some friends behind him, former Alliance drivers of Cedric Hunter, Steven Stympian. They're controlling both lanes, and it's go time for this group. And he's starting to see even more friendly faces and names as Bronson Stafford gets the 88 shuffled to the outside groove. Now it's the 61 leading that outside momentum, but just behind the 61, it's Zach Hall, Christopher Norris. Snowy Desert Racing is on the charge to try to lead this race.
88 gets shuffled out to the 3rd lane. Is he going to have anyone let him in? Is that his teammate right there, the 71? Is the 71 going to let him in, Sam? It's not as easy as just pulling over, letting someone come down in front of you, especially when you don't have the momentum going with no help up there. But hey, will the 71 go up there? Will they push each other back to the lead? It's kind of hard, though, just 2 cars.
I mean, it's going to be difficult, but I don't know if we're going to be seeing the 71 or anyone work with the 88, drop the hammer, driver of Steven Stympian, because all of his other teammates are kind of scattered all over the place. You had Shane Wyatt in 4th currently in the 27. Other drivers of James Kunkel, he's heavily damaged in the 85. Also further on back, not a part of this lead pack. So for the 88 of Steven Stympian. If he's going to catch back up to Shane Wyatt, he's got to do it on his own or find drivers that can trust that 88 machine.
Yes, that's a very valid point there. I misspoke. I was thinking back to Drew Jua for a second there. Still has that on my mind. And I know he was waiting for the 71 to get up there. But unfortunately now the 71's up there and he doesn't have his teammate up there anymore due to that packet loss. Wow.
Yes. I mean, Justin, it is fair. There are a lot of drivers that are new to us, but what a moment. They're off of 4. I think everyone had a separate issue off the exit. Some broke loose, some broke tight. It was a freak out for the lead pack there off the exit of turn 4, but it's okay, Justin. There's a lot of new faces. Like I said, we got 16 new drivers, rookies that joined this season, 14 teams, and a lot of those teams all shook up from what they were teaming up with the last 2 seasons. So I'm not surprised that we might get a couple of names maybe mixed up, teams mixed up. It might take us about 3 or 4 races before we fully are solidified with some of these drivers on their new car numbers also. But it is certainly no surprise that we're seeing some of this change up. But one driver that dominated this race back in season 5, Zach Hall, to the point, the 32, pressuring the Sky Motorsports driver of Bronson Stafford, and they have some lap traffic right in front. This is when you cross your fingers, hope for the best, because it's not just one lap car, it's a lap traffic pack that you're catching up with.
Well, this is where if you have a spotter, you're hoping they'll talk to the rest of those guys in front that are a lap down. Please stay high, get out of my lane, go low if you're in the high lane. You're begging them to please not interfere right now. You don't want to be going 3 wide through the corner, especially on these older tires. We're getting into a longer run here. Zach Hall, he's going to be on the inside. He's going to catch that lap car. They're going to go into the middle. Lap car pulls over, gives plenty of room. But as they get to the corner, they're going to be 3 wide eventually.
3 wide. Kunkel is riding the apron in that red line. That is not a comfortable place to be, and it's going to be able to let the whole entire back drift on forward, but an easily scary momentum for themselves. But this lead group, they've got another group of 3 drivers to get by, and they're side by side. We may go 4 wide if they continue with the way they're driving, as Bronson Stafford gets a huge push from Christopher Norris, the 38, trying to get the 61 as far out as possible before most likely ditching the 61, but they've got a battle. It's the 4 of Justin Forbes. It's the 06 of Tom Bourne. They almost wrecked in front of the field. Also, they're going to be seeing Joshua Kanata. Splitting lap traffic is going to be the field. Watch out. This isn't good. We're going to be going 2, 3, almost 4 wide, and the field is somehow keeping it together, but I don't think it's going to stay for very long, as Justin Forbes going to stay on the outside group. Contact. Cedric Hunter holds on. We somehow keep it together.
Wow. What a lap there. We got another car up in the wall. The 4
Justin
machine.
Forbes.
Justin Forbes, you just brought him up. Wow, these drivers, the tires really are starting to must be wearing out here, Sam. We're late into this run. We're seeing them get spread out. They're not able to hold the bottom like they wanted to. The top line has drivers on the inside line sliding up into them. Look at that. They're 2, 2.5, 3 wide getting through this corner. This is really getting to be really interesting racing. I love it right now. Love these old tires.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of inexperienced racing right there, of some drivers getting out of the way, others not. Justin Forbes, a very new sim racer, and went with kind of the I'm going to stay battling. Maybe got a little bit too tunnel focused on the positional battle and not where the lead pack was driving. Going to be seeing Tom Bourne. He stayed in his lane, forcing everyone else to slow down to the 06. Same for the 16 of Joshua Kanata. The 4, though, loses the group. He falls backwards, but somehow it could have been a massive scare. They all hold on together, but for how long still is the question, because looming in the wings for this field is pit stops. We don't have the exact number of when they're going to be coming to pit road, but it's looming for this field.
It is, and that's going to be really one of the biggest game changers, getting on to that road clean. That's going to be the really hard thing to do. I got to say, though, Sam, there's so much action going on. I've been wanting to say this for about 5 laps. I have to give a huge shout-out to the driver that proved me wrong. Running in 10th position, you see the number 24, Ollie Fonseca, that blue Pepsi colored car. We thought he lost the draft. I kind of confirmed. I was like, he lost it. No, he proved me wrong. He was back there. Maybe he was saving a little bit of fuel, saving a little bit of tires. We think he has a little bit of damage, but he's right up there in the mix now, shooting for a top 10 finish the way he's going.
Shooting and trying to stay in a good position, as now we're going to be seeing some more teammates racing against one another. Now it's going to be seeing the Snowy Desert Racing teammates, Zach Hall, Christopher Norris, but Norris maybe accidentally pushed his teammate a little bit too far out. Zach Hall, no drafting help, but he'll fall in the clutches of his teammate of the 38 of Christopher Norris. Outside lane's going to be Sky Motorsports of Bronson Stafford and Matt Meir, but third driver on the outside, he got some damage. He maybe didn't get those stage bonus points that he wanted. The 71 of Edward Sherwood Jr. is back in the fight.
He's back to the fight. He wants to say, hey, I can get up there. I don't need the 77. I was able to push him. I'm going to push someone else up to the front. As we see a driver get up in the wall, he's still up there.
61.
That's 61.
That's Bronson Stafford from being second in line on the outside. Brushes the wall, loses all the momentum. He's going to be seeing some familiar faces, though, deeper in this group. But that's not where you want to be. 3 wide with Bronson Stafford, Tom Bourne, as they'll try to single up with one another, get back to 2x2. And now your new leader, still Zach Hall. Christopher Norris leading on the outside. Inside row, though, it's being led by a lap car. That's Joshua Kanata trying to unlap himself the hard way currently as a 16.
Well, the hard way, but if he can do it and the caution comes out, it opens the door, gets him back on that lead lap. As you see right here, John Forbes looked like he might have got down on that apron inspector. You see how it kind of shoots the car up into the corner, but able to keep it going, no problem. You see up there in his mirror, he got that 70 machine. My pick, Aaron Smith, still in the hunt, staying in this top 20. Got to mention, we had the 43 driver, Sam, but we kind of have 2 fields of cars right now. As you see a car up in trouble there.
That's Trenton Jump brushing the wall, has to get down low, get into the draft as quickly as possible. Otherwise, you might be driving too slow and lose that lead pack. And we're seeing a lot of drivers, they're losing touch to that grip level. They're starting to get into some trouble at this current moment as they are starting to tighten up and almost trouble on the outside. And then once again, you see the puff of smoke. That's Matt Meir that gets shoved into the outside wall as trouble for some drivers, a little bit overzealous. We're seeing some lap cars with this lead pack trying to get up front and unlap themselves the hard way.
Oh, the racing has really picked up. I feel like there could be a caution at any moment, but if there is not, I know we don't have the exact fuel window, but I believe we went back to green around 62 or 65, if my memory serves me correct. If these drivers can get to 105, 106, does that mean that they're able to do it on one stop total left? As we see right there, trouble though.
That's going to be seeing the 51. Vincent Sora shoved onto the apron. He'll come back up on the track, but they're going to be 3 wide. Hold on, check up, move high, and they'll keep it together. Sora losing all the time and momentum. He's going to get help, though, from Larry Yingling in the 67. The champions, the most winningest champions. You put a combination, 5 of her 8 championships been won by that 67 and 51. They keep it together, they stay attached, and they'll stay in this lead pack.
It could be really fun to watch them go back to the front as they're at the tail end of this first group right now. But these drivers, they must be really fighting the cars right now. You're seeing them spread out. They're not running close together like they were. And that allows these drivers to make some crazy moves when they need to, and it's really been putting on fabulous racing up front.
Lucky Duck driver is now going to be trying to make their way forward together. It's Edward Sherwood Jr. in the 07 of going to be Brian Noel. Now under affiliated teammates, you could say. Officially Lucky Duck driver Edward Sherwood Jr. Now an affiliate under the banner 07 Brian Noel. But Brian Noel, what a steal of a win it could be for himself as we're in the final third of tonight's race. We hop on board with the Lucky Duck driver. Can't really see anything, and that's something we haven't touched on at all here tonight. Visibility, difficult for some of these drivers, especially in the middle of the pack, when maybe you don't see a checkup coming in front of you, or you don't expect your tires to just fall away.
Especially when you're running that outside line, like you said, visibility is so hard, but you don't want to incorrectly time the entry of the corner and maybe push too hard right at the end of the corner, and then before you know, you get that driver loose going into the corner, and there's a potential accident or incident, slide up in the wall. But right now, these drivers running that outside line, they're doing a great job. You see third place car there ducked down, maybe just getting a little bit of air, trying to keep that engine cool as he's able to get back in line, get back to pushing. That's the key, being able to push, but you don't want to blow those engines up.
You absolutely do not. Mixed and mingled in this lead 19 drivers. You have 2 lap cars, Tom Bourne in the 06 and the 16 of Joshua Kanata trying to make their way forward if possible as we ride on board with Ollie Fonseca. And Ollie riding in the back. We thought, like you said, Justin, he may lose the draft, maybe protecting his tires as the 24 has been moving quickly down on this inside groove.
He's racy now. Whatever he was doing before, it paid off. He's got the car hooked up. He's moving closer and closer to the front. Every time we talk about him, just keep getting up there. Up in 6th position now, maybe 7th as the lanes kind of go side by side here. But I'll tell you what, that inside line's starting to battle back. These guys they got spread out for a moment there, but they're getting right back to racing 2 by 2 now, all throughout the first group.
Plenty of space to work with at the moment as we have ourselves 45 laps to go here tonight. And with the way that these drivers are running this momentum, we are looking for a one stop from here to the end of the race. We just have one more stop to go before this race is over. And Justin, now it looms. We touched on it a little bit earlier on the fact of if you're going to make a pit stop, you might not want to be the first drivers to do so, or we might see a wreck further on back. Shane Terrian, also the 3 of Ryan Kelly, get a little bit mixy with one another as the 3 blitzes by the 9 who got put in the outside wall.
It is, like you mentioned, I would be really scared to be one of the first drivers to pit. Because I'm just worried about there being a caution with guys trying to slow down and get on the pit road. And you don't want to get trapped a lap down. You're definitely going to lose a lap pitting under green if you're the first few to do it. The problem is eventually someone's going to be low on fuel and they're going to be forced to pit. Not everyone's going to be able to be the last car to pit.
I mean, it might be pitting for fuel, but based on what we're seeing on track, I think it might be tires more than anything that might force these drivers into pit road. Hop on board with the 0-1 and Matthew Rodriguez. This is drivers battling on the last pack of drivers that are running back from 30th back to 38th are in this group. And Rodriguez trying to make his way forward as he's alliance driver of the 97 of Mike Tellier, trying to work with one another to go forward and push this group along as they're trying to catch up to the second pack that's just ahead of them.
And that's one of the reasons why, so we could explain to these viewers right now who maybe does not know everything about restrictor plate racing like these types of tracks. You need to be in that big group. The more cars in the group, the faster you're able to go. They're punching a hole in the air. Right now, these second and third groups are too spread apart. They don't have the amount of cars to be able to stay with that front group when they got separated. And it's really made this be into a first group, the second group, and the third group. And it's kind of given us a little bit of single file racing. And that kind of has a feel like this might go to the end green flag, the way that this field got spread out, Sam.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that we've had just one caution be thrown, and that was the race. Now, we've had 2 here tonight, but looking at the past, Season 5, when they ran this exact car at this track, only 1 caution was thrown. Zach Ball got the pole, led the most laps, and won that race. Last season, they were in the Gen 4 vehicle. They had 6 cautions. It was a lot tougher because the back bumper, rear bumper didn't really attach well. If you gave a back bump, you spun each other around, or just the driver in front of you. Here tonight, this looks like it's more so of as long as you can keep the car underneath you and the other drivers can react properly if you do get out of shape, we're staying green. When will you make the final pit stop? Still going to be looming in the back of the mind for a lot of these drivers because I believe 60 laps is the furthest that you can possibly go, but the tires are showing to me that you might only have another 10 to potentially 12 laps. There's a little bit longer than fuel, but you're running very thin on the tires that you have. Is now leading that outside cruise. Going to be the 06 of Tom Bourne. Now Ollie Fonseca will move in front of that 06 and charging their way forward. Starting to see the 88 of Steven Stimpian trying to close in the gap. But the 3-wide race in the middle, you can see there getting a little bit hectic. Ollie Fonseca, Tom Bourne, accordion effect their way through. Kunkel gets bounced around for the 99. He'll drop backwards. And like once again, they keep it together for another scare.
That's had to been the theme. These drivers, they get in trouble, but they're all keeping it together. They're doing a great job. Track definitely has a ton of grip, but the tires, even though they're just a newer surface, they're still under a tremendous amount of pressure just running through these corners as wide open as these drivers are. It makes you wonder, Sam, is anyone going to risk gambling and maybe doing just fuel only, trying to get that time back? I mean, I can't see how it pays off, but you never know. If you can get a couple cars out there and you can still run single file, and maybe someone will do it in this backpack that lost her. They're about 10 seconds back, but if they run as far as they can, and pit stops are about 11, 12 seconds for 4 tires, and maybe you only need 4 seconds of fuel, do you gamble? How else do you get to the front if you're in that second group?
I mean, you gamble, maybe you try to get in line with one another. That's going to be the big thing. If you see drivers get in line with one another, that's going to be the big sign of we're thinking about pit stops. Still, this lead pack is running the top groove and continue to run incredible pace laps for themselves. The leader just ran a 31.0 but then the leader of the second pack, 2/10 faster. We're starting to see with the aggressive kind of chain reaction of this lead group, starting to see that second group. They were 6 seconds back, they're now down to just 5 seconds back. If this run progresses forward, we could be seeing that second pack have a chance to close in the gaps a little bit more for themselves, but it looks to be just slightly out of reach for themselves. But Justin, looking at this lead pack, we've talked about a lot of these drivers in this lead group, except for a couple. One of them I want to bring up is the driver that's running in 15th position currently. That's the 26th machine of Tom Senchek, one of the returning drivers that we've seen in the WSSR before. He's a winner of a super speedway in the past at Talladega back in season 4 for himself. This is a driver that knows how to cut his way through traffic. He has been just lingering in the back half of this group, just watching some of the big moves. You could be watching out for Tom Senchek. He could be a driver to make a big move and a splash for a top 5 at the end of this race.
There in 15, watching and learning, seeing what all these drivers around him are going to be doing. We can trust to get to the front with him later on in this race. But I tell you what, Sam, they're getting close to running out of time. There's 33 laps to go, and they're going by so quick, and that pit stop's going to be so important. What are drivers going to do? It's going to be really the race is probably going to be won off of the pit road, the strategy. But the most important, like you said, getting up to speed, getting through the gears, and making sure you have your partners or other people out there single file pushing the air as quick as you can so you get up there and be in the group. You don't want to risk losing the draft at all, especially with it being less cars up front as drivers start to fall off.
18 drivers still attached to this lead pack currently. We have lost Matt Meir and Brian B. Johnson. They're no longer a part of this lead group as they've had a couple of big checkups to lose momentum. But if you're out there watching tonight's race, if you haven't already, we'd love it if you could share this stream. First race for season 9. There's still a wide open card of who can get into victory lane. We look back at last season at this track, we had to go to overtime. We used 2 overtime attempts, and it was a late dashing move to take the win. Every race here at Atlanta has been a last lap, last corner pass. Could we see it once again here for the 3rd time running at Atlanta in this next-gen car? And also, we love it if you're in the chat and you have the ability to do so. Type in the chat, who are you rooting for? Who's the driver you want to see in the victory lane, or are you rooting for a whole team? Currently, right now, it's Zach Hall leading the way as he's got a lap car of Joshua Kanata trying to take that lead position to unlap himself. But it's been Snowy Desert Racing on the outside. They've been holding on. Trouble, though, for the 07 of Brian Noel. He's trying to come back up into the track. There's not a lot of space. Finally finds it. Douglas Newbigin into the wall. And once again, it's Lucky Duck not feeling too lucky here tonight. 2 issues just in 2 corners.
2 issues in 2 corners. You saw a couple other guys get up there in the wall too. I mean, that's how quick it happens though. These guys, they have great talent. They're able to save the car, but look at the positions lost. All that work to get to the front. Now you're back at the back half. And the most important thing, Sam, did not lose the draft. Still has a chance. This race is not over yet.
That's the biggest thing that you can carry with it. And a lot of drivers, I think, could give a huge thank you to the 67 of Larry Yingling. Larry has been the anchor of this pack. That's red 67 machine has just been trying to keep everyone still attached. Doesn't want to see anyone lose their chance for a win here tonight, which is shocking for the 3-time champ. But it's early in tonight's into the season. Sometimes you want to make some friends. You don't want to make enemies immediately that can hurt you later on in the season.
That's very true. And Larry, he's such a smart racer. We know that. His resume speaks volumes for the amount of wins he has. But maybe, Sam, maybe he's making sure everyone stays up here. He doesn't want anyone falling back anymore and risk letting that second group. Right now, Larry's thinking, you know what? We figured out here between the 18 of us, don't let anyone else catch up to us. He's back there doing what he needs to do to make sure he keeps these guys in line.
Trying to keep themselves in line as some drivers are making some hard decisions for themselves. Trouble for further on back as it looked like Gavin Rogers was trying to make a pit stop for himself and it did not go well. He found himself into the grass. Drivers are trying to set up for pit stops, it looks like here. And here we go. A few lap down drivers as well as seeing a few up front entering pit road. It's Larry Yingling, Tom Senchek into pit road for themselves. Justin, a lot of drivers over the radio. This is it. It's the giant surge. Watch out for the fan out up front. A lot of drivers further on back in the 3rd group have already come into pit road, but up front, about to make the call to enter pit road.
This will be really fun to watch. This is what we talked about. they are spread out enough. They're not like in that huge 2x2 group that these guys should be able to
Oh,
slow
trouble
down.
though. Ollie Fonseca, also Steven Stimpian get into one another. Stimpian wanted to pit, but got ran over by the 24.
Oh, that's not good. Don't want to have pit road issues. That could make them really lose the draft. All that you see right now, you got one car going through the grass up there in the top corner, Sam.
Black flag for Danny Cochran, speeding on entry. He's got a 40-second hold. And for Danny Cochran, that's another race this week caught with a speeding penalty. That's tough pill to swallow for the two machine. More drivers entering pit road. It's Bronson Stafford who is leading. It's now going to be all Lucky Ducks up front leading this race, trying to be the last driver to pit road. Ollie Fonseca completely misses his way into pit road. He comes to a complete stop on the racing surface and is almost about to wreck and does wreck into a car. Matthew Rodriguez and Ollie Fonseca make contact on pit entry.
Wow, that's really unfortunate right there. We talked about Ollie Fonseca coming up through the field, having a good race, but now look at the front bumper torn off. The other car you spoke about getting into him, not ideal for these guys right here, pitting at lap 126. Not how they wanted their night to end. That's a ton of damage on that car.
And it's required damage for Ollie Fonseca as more drivers entering pit road for themselves. Here's going to be Andrew Medlin, Cody Reed. It is a complete mess, and when you've got 43 drivers out on track, it's bound to have some issues. But leading the way of drivers that have made their stops, it's the 07 of Brian Noel that's going to be the first driver out as he's trying to get up to speed. But a lot of fast drivers making the charge. It's going to be Tom Sinchek blitzing his way forward with a lot of speed as well. Oh man, this is going to be fun, Justin. Pit stops are over. It's all about who's grabbing the win at the end of the night.
And look at how spread out the field is getting now. You're going to have a couple more cars merging here, not up to speed yet. Kind of gets a little bit hairy situations as cars look at the difference in speed. You see the guys down on the apron, not up to full speed yet. But that could be really troublesome when you're coming out by yourself and you're trying to get up to speed and you got the big pack of cars coming behind you at full speed.
There are 5 drivers in line that have been alliances. They have been teammates under the Category 5 esports brand outside of league racing. That's Tom Sinchek, Larry Yingling, Zach Hall, Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter. Those 5 drivers, alliance outside of the league. But tonight, they're split up on 4 different teams. How well do you want to work with one another as they're trying to catch up to these 2 drivers? Douglas Newbigging, Aaron Smith II, taking 2 tires. Rest of the field took 4, and they're getting caught very quickly. The gap is 1.7 seconds. You see that group behind in line. The 70 and the 7, do they have enough pace to hold off the rest of the field for 20 laps? Justin, I don't think so, but they're going to try their heart out.
Oh, they are going to try. One thing, Sam, that they have working for them is the car right behind them, that green machine. That's that third car. That might help slow down the draft a little bit. By the time the big pack gets to them, they got to go around that car. That might stall them out enough that these 2 drivers up here might go one high, one low, and at least they have a chance to stay in the front row of that pack because it's not a huge pack. There's only about 8 or 9 cars back there. They're definitely going to have more speed. But with this third car, that might change everything.
4 drivers caught with speeding penalties. The 4 drivers being Steven Stimpian, Gavin Rogers, Danny Cochran, Mike Tellier, all 1 lap down. They need a caution to get back into this fight as we're about to be 20 laps to go. And the lead pack going to be around 19 drivers, 11 drivers going to be in this lead group once the second pack catches up to Douglas Newbigging, Aaron Smith, as they are trying their best to fly forward. It's going to be a good fight because you look at the drivers that are all in this group. There's a lot of Lucky Duck drivers that are in this pack. There's a lot of outside of the league alliances, but it's on. Here we go. They are grouped up 11 drivers. Who's taking the win with 19 laps to go?
Oh, it's 19 to go now. You see our ticker change. We're under 20 to go, 19 right now. Here it is. They got to the lap car. Are they going to have enough power to get to the outside quarter panel and stall out? As we got another lap car coming up on Douglas Newbigging and Aaron Smith. They move up. They're going to block that momentum. They're going to be able to maybe keep the lead here, Sam. But no, look at this. Move back to the inside. Tom Senchak. Now they split it. Aaron Smith up high. Doesn't have the dropping health.
Doesn't have the team help, doesn't have the drafting help, but Thompson Check does not want to be your follower no more. He had been following everyone else throughout the whole entire green flag stint. And the 26 of Thompson Check, I circled him up as someone we didn't really talk about. Well, now we talk about him. The 26 is in the lead. He's got Larry Yingling behind him, and they're trying to pull away from the rest of the field. But Cedric Hunter, he dips it to the inside, trying to get by Aaron Smith II. John Forbes trying to make his way forward, and that throwback Terry Labonte scheme, and everyone knows it's go time 2x2, and Larry Yingling, Thompson Check, they're trying to block both lanes, but at the moment, it looks like Yingling trying to find an opening to get by this 26-foot can.
And the 70 is going to fight back with those 2 tires on the outside. Is he going to be able to get alongside? Not going to be able to do it. As Larry Yingling is going to push back on Tom Senchak. He gets him a little loose there going off into the corner. You saw a little bit of the wiggle. These drivers are going to be pushing harder and harder each lap now. 17 to go, Stan.
Find your alliance if it's possible, and I'm looking through the field. There's not a lot of drivers that are lined up with their teammates. It is a mix and mingle and speed dating at the time. Who is your friend? Who do you trust to push you forward? As Aaron Smith II gets shoved by John Forbes up to the lead, but they're going to have Ollie Fonseca on the outside. The 24 will stay high. They're going to go 3 wide, getting by the lap car, and it's John Forbes taking the draft assistance. The 11 now going to be pushed up to the front, and this is exactly what, if you're Aaron Smith II and if you're going to be the 07 of Brian Noel, you need to get in line, get somewhat of a teammate assistance, and also 4th car on the outside is the 7 of Douglas Newbegin. Lucky Ducks, they might have had struggles earlier on, they might have had some blips, some mistakes in the middle of this race, but they're about to get all lined up if they can time this perfectly with 15 laps to go here tonight.
These drivers, they have those 4 fresh tires. Now they feel like they can make the move, but the driver with the 2 tires still holding on the bottom. But man, I don't know, Sam. 2 tires on the bottom. How long is that going to stay fresh for him, and how long is he going to be able to keep hooking that bottom?
And can we stay green? Last time we were here, we needed 2 overtime attempts. Here tonight, we've only had 2 cautions. There's been moments where drivers have had scares, but we've kept it together. Some drivers have had some wrecks that have ended their night, such as Ben Keeney. We've also had drivers get disconnected, such as Drew Jua. But who's willing to make the big move here late to try to take the win? Because John Force in the 11 looks strong, but you know the driver behind you. You cannot trust Brian Noel. There's just too many other Lucky Duck drivers around this front pack.
That driver making a move. You saw him go from the inside to the top. That pink car, number 13, Cedric Hunter, made a big power move. He wanted to get in that outside line. He felt like he saw something up there. He wants to get that, and as he did it, look at the momentum. Maybe on the inside starting to fizzle out, as now you got 2 cars on the outside about past the inside of the 70 machine.
As these drivers keep on putting lap after lap down, now going to be 12 laps to go. The front stretch, driving under the red line, is fair game. On the back stretch, you must stay on the racing surface and not even have your left side tires go over that red line to advance positions. All drivers know what the rulings are, but it's who's willing to make that first diving move to the apron. We have not seen it at all here tonight. Everyone's been staying on the racing surface unless you've been pushed down to the apron or you've been trying to avoid a wreck. But with that move through 3 and 4, it's now Noel. It's now Aaron Smith II. We got some Lucky Duck drivers in line with one another, but that outside group, former rivals, John Forbes, Trent Jump, rivals for a championship back in the ISRC truck days. Well, now they got to be alliance. Who's going to get the win here tonight? 11, so to be 10 laps to go.
And these drivers, who's going to be the one that decides to go 3 wide? And are they going to do something? These guys in the back half of this first group, are they going to do something and get up there to mix it 3 wide? Maybe with a couple laps to go, not wanting to do it yet, but hey, as we see that, we see a car get up into the wall. Am I seeing that second group? Or do they have a chance to catch it? Do these drivers start to race? Are we going to have more cars in this field? 10 to go, we're going to find out. But I don't know if they're going to get to us, Sam. That second group is real far back.
That second pack's just too far back. They need some major bumps. Maybe drivers getting into the wall, just a complete loss of momentum for this lead group. The gap between 11th and 12th place is 4.2 seconds, a little bit too big with 9 laps to go. But who's willing to make the big move? It's going to be Douglas Newbegin going to the outside. Also going to be seeing Trent jump to the inside. They're going to be splitting the middle. 3 wide for the lead, 3 wide for 4th. Here we go as it's time to get racy. Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, well. Drivers that have been up front and having multiple chances to win this race in the past now try to shove their way forward. They're stuck in the sucker hole though. They don't have the momentum. Contact for Edward Sherwood Jr. on the outside row, and they hold it together once again. We continue to stay side by side, and it's going to be the battle between John Forbes, Douglas Newbigging for the lead with 8 laps to go.
For the lead, and those 3 cars on the outside, they cleared the inside. A lot of room down there. That means that a guy in third position back in there in that outside line. Will he drop to the inside? But no, Cedric Hunter, he's going to get that momentum, come back up. Is he going to get the big push here from Zach Hall and go to the front? Is he going to lead this lap? We're under 8 to go.
If we see another big move like that again, a driver's trying to go 3 wide for the lead, that could be necessary to help that second pack close in the gap. After that big move, the lead group has lost over a half a second. The second group is catching up, just not fast enough to really be a factor unless we see more 3-wide racing, which we do. It's the lap down car of Wally Fonseca put in the push, trying to get his other lap down driver, a Matt Meir, through the middle. Lap cars influencing the middle of this pack, but up front, it's still John Forbes, but mixed and mingled, it's the Lucky Duck drivers, Edward Sherwood Jr., Douglas Newbigging. Watch them try to force the issue to go to the outside and go 3 wide, or if they see an opening, they're ducking low on the 11.
What if that 11 comes out of that corner any higher next time? Douglas Newbigging, he was thinking about making it 3 wide. As you see right there, the 11 just not holding it right down. Douglas Newbigging coming out of that corner. I saw him poke his nose. We're going to see right here. Is he going to do it again coming through this corner? Going to find out here. Cedric Hunter to the inside. Will the 7 make a move on the 11, or will the 11 be able to hold it?
Not able to do so. They're losing time and effort for themselves. This lead pack, once again, shimmying and shaking wherever they can go. Now going to have lap cars in front of them. It's going to be James Kunkel as well as Dakota Moniz. Will they go down to the apron, or will they stay on track? If they stay on track, this could give an opening for some drivers to go 3 wide if possible. That second pack also getting very racy on who's going to be taking the 12th place position. But up front, Kunkel stays low. Moniz stays on the course. It's John Forbes. It's also going to be seeing Douglas Newbigging. They got to shrink back down to the inside groove. We're going to be 3 wide up next to the corner. Watch out for the 5. He stays high, trying to stay off that outside wall. 3 wide across the line, 5 to go, make it 4 as, oh boy, John Forbes getting pushed out of the way. There's the move for Lucky Ducks, and it's Douglas Newbigging through the middle.
He made that move on the 11. We talked about it a couple laps ago. He did it. Going to go 3 wide for the lead. Come out 2 wide. Still got that Cedric Hunter machine on the inside. Not able to clear him. But if he does clear him, will he go to the inside? Do you want to be on the inside? It looks like the 7 does want to be on the inside. Will that open the move for someone on the outside lane to get around? Douglas Newbigging's not going to give anyone a chance. He's going to try and block every lane.
Trying to block every lane in that middle groove. Gonna have 3 Lucky Duck drivers in a row. You got Douglas Newbigging. You also got Edward Sherwood Jr., Aaron Smith II in line, inside groove. It's Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, Larry Yingling, the veterans of the WSSR Cup Series, trying to hold the crowd. 3 laps to go. Will it be the Lucky Ducks drivers, or could it be the veterans? Could it also be one of the surprise winners here tonight? Off the exit of the corner, Cedric Hunter going to be the leader with 2 laps to go here tonight.
Everyone was really pushed on the outside quarter of the 7 machine through that corner. Luckily, nothing happened there, but man, that's aggressive. That's where the moves happen that could cause accidents, but those drivers were hooked up. They were doing what they needed to try and stay there alongside the 13, but they're not having that momentum right now. The 13 on the inside line, shorter distance, going to come through. We're going to be coming to 1 to go.
Zach gets tight. The 32 pushes the 7 high. They're going to be squeezing 3 wide, battling for 3rd place. Hunter's going to have no help. Cross the line. White flag in the air. This is official. Justin, it could be Hunter. It could be Douglas Newbigging. As they're going through 1 and 2, it's the 13 looking for any help. But Larry Yingling, again, has to stay on the racing surface until they're on the front stretch. Then getting below the red line is fair game. It's the 13 of Cedric Hunter trying to win another opener for a WSSR season, trying to hold back. There's no one close. Who can duck it down low? Aaron Smith II's hoping, but no one will grab it. Hello, Kitty. Hello to a win. Cedric Hunter wins.
Wow, the Cedric Hunter, the 13, gets a much-deserved win. Great driver, great speed out of that. Douglas Newbigging in 2nd position. We're going to hear from him. Larry Yingling, 3rd place, fights back hard. Big finish from him. Aaron Smith in 4th, and Edward Sherwood Jr. 5th.
Whew. They kept it together. Justin, I think that's the most impressive thing of the night, is they kept it together. Only just a few cautions coming out, and it should have been, could have been, a lot of moments of wrecks. but it doesn't come out. Instead, Cedric Hunter in the 13 Hello Kitty machine grabs the win for himself. He moved away from Lucky Ducks and wins ahead of the whole team, as the rest of Lucky Ducks Racing was up there with an incredible surge. You got to give kudos to Douglas Newbigging, Aaron Smith second, Edward Shermer Jr., and Brian Noel. They put in their best effort, but 13 had too big of a gap. No one could catch them, and Cedric Hunter is your winner here tonight. Congratulations to Cedric Hunter again. Like Justin said, we'll talk to our top three when we come back. Cedric Hunter, Douglas Newbigging, Larry Yingling, and a spotlight driver right after this. Wide with one another as side-by-side racing continues on. Christopher Norris has been able to move up 3 spots for himself. Dakota Moniz, another driver in the 5 that's moved up 3 spots. And for Dakota Moniz in the 5 machine, this race is so critical because the driver he's runs, Christopher Norris, and all offense incoming contact into the outside wall. Everyone's got to get around. Norris locks it down, but the second pack is rolling in. It looks to be almost contact, and it is. Major one for the second pack. The admins have to throw the yellow, and that will be your first caution of the day.
Oh man, Sam, that was a huge collision. I don't know who caught, hit Norris in that second pack, but it all started up there with Christopher Norris and Ali Fonseca. It looks like coming off of 2, making some contact. I don't know if it was Necco actually. So then when we go back and look at this, we'll see that as they come off the exit of 2 here. It's just going to be a gap between them. Puts Norris up in the wall, and then from off the wall, here comes the 38 down off of it into the 24, who's going to slam that wall off the right front of his truck, and then Norris is locking it down, sliding across. It looks like that was the 14 Arizari and Tyler Dangler.
Tyler Dangler, who was tied in points for the cutoff line. That major damage is going to be critical for himself. Required damage for Tyler Dangler, and that one incident wreck on lap 17 could be the ends and hopes of Tyler Dangler trying to make the playoffs.
Oh, that is so heartbreaking for Tyler, who's had a season of ups and downs and some bright spots. You see right here for GT.
Already a car length and a half ahead of Danny Cochran and Vincent Sora.
Great start there for John Forbes, but I think down the back straightaway, he's going to find out real quick how strong this draft is here, as the 2 is going to have a massive head of steam here heading down into 3 and 4. What's he going to do with it? He looks to the inside, but the 11 shuts the door. Now the 15 Vincent Sora, teammate of Danny Cochran's going to look to the outside of the 2.
Trying to bounce to the outside, not able to do so just yet. Gonna have to settle back in line, utilize the draft. Vincent Sora stays high, gives an opening for Cody Reed for a quick moment. Cody Reed backs out for a better option, but John Forbes stays too high, and now the teammates, they'll stay in line on the inside groove. Cochran gasses up, stays full throttle, and gets a bump draft from his teammate. It's going to be seen. Vincent Sora and Danny Cochran working together on that inside groove as the 2, he'll keep his nose ahead to try to lead a lap here.
There we go, going to try to lead this lap, and Vincent Sora wants to also get a lap led out there because he knows that John Ford has done a good job of already doing that himself. He wants to even that battle out here, try to, heal those wounds, such as John Forbes has opened up so far here, but 15 not able to jump up like he wants.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Cup Series post-race show for the Season 9 Race 1. The Trophy Smack 225 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We go to Victory Lane to bring up your winner here tonight. What a run for himself, started in the top 10 and 8th and worked his way forward. We've got Cedric Hunter with us. Cedric, congratulations. You're another debut opener winner here for the WSSR Cup Series. I mean, how does it feel grabbing this one here tonight?
Oh man, it feels great. Holy. Yeah, not gonna lie. I think when I took over the lead there with like 10 laps to go, I was so nervous going through the corners. My hands were like shaking the whole time because I kind of felt like the possibility of winning was right there, man. I had Zach behind me, and Zach's freaking one of the best pushers out there. Honestly, if it wasn't for him, no way in hell I'd be in victory lane. So he deserves this win as much as I do. Yeah, man, the nerves were getting to me. I'm not going to lie, all that shaking in the corners was making me loose. I thought I was going to wreck just about every corner. Yeah, man, I'm thrilled to win. My last win, I guess, was 2 seasons ago at the opener at Daytona. So, I'm happy that we're back in the next gen cars, and hopefully we can put it in victory lane a couple more times this season.
Cedric, Justin up here. Congrats on the win. Such a well-deserved win for you. You're a great, clean, awesome racer to watch. We love watching you up here. So happy to see you get this win. Hope to see you get a lot more wins throughout the season. But tell me, there was about 8 laps ago, and I called you out in the broadcast. I saw you go from the inside. You made a power move to get up there in front of someone on the outside lane. Was that really maybe kind of what got you in a position to win the race? Did you see something starting to form on that inside line where you knew you needed to get to that outside line to get up there to the front?
Yeah, man. I think it was like with like 12 laps to go or 10 laps to go or something, or maybe you said eight. So somewhere around there, I kind of moved up in front of Zach because there was a gap, and um, and we basically we were just talking, and we were like, if it ever comes down to it, we're gonna shoot a three wide. And I was totally planning on going to the third line, and Zach was like, no, it's like those guys up top kept sliding up. He's like the middle is just like so much faster if you can get there. And I don't know what happened, but there's a massive checkup, and then I just kind of darted and saw the opportunity, and he followed. And I'm pretty sure we went from like eighth and 10th or something like that to pretty much 1-2 on the bottom. So it was a hell of a move. I don't think I could have done something like that if I was given a second shot. I think it just all the dominoes fell just perfectly.
I mean, Cedric, like you said, last time he won was 2 seasons ago for the opener, but here tonight, what a night overall for the league, WSSR. Talking as an admin, what was it like getting to see 48 drivers showing up for tonight? You had a go and go home situation during qualifying, and then seeing 43 vehicles out there on track.
It was awesome. Like as an admin, that makes me so happy. At the same time, I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty sad. It's like, uh, although I wanted to see for because just for the league and the growth of the league, like it's such a good thing to have an excess amount of drivers out there. And the fact that we had like 48 guys is just remarkable. Hopefully that's a new bar that we've set for ourselves. So hopefully we can surpass that. In future races. Uh, but I'm not gonna lie. Also, there was a part of me that kind of broke a little bit when you do have to disqualify a couple guys that obviously are deserving to race here as much as anybody else. And obviously it's a super speedway race, so like qualifying is a little bit out there. Like it's just um, I'd say it's obviously skill a little bit, but it's also just luck. So I did feel bad when I had to tell those guys that they couldn't race tonight. But like I told them, obviously they're welcome to show up next week, and hopefully they put some revenge on knock somebody else out, and they have an opportunity to race. Um, yeah, no, I'm thrilled as an admin, but at the same time, it kind of sucks. So, uh, but it's good for the league.
I certainly see both sides of that, Cedric. Again, congratulations on winning the Trophy Smack 225. Before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any more shoutouts.
I appreciate it, guys. Huge shout out to you guys for doing everything that you do. Justin, I haven't had too many opportunities to talk to you in the booth at WSSR, so it's great to talk to you, buddy. And shout out to my team, Snowy Desert Racing. I obviously left the team about 2 or 3 seasons back on the Monday Truck League, so it's good to be back with those group of guys. And shout out to Lucky Ducks. Um, Obviously, my team for the last 2 seasons. Unfortunately, I only got one win with them. I would have liked to have had a lot more before my departure for the season. But shout out to them. They have a stacked roster. Um, Again, shout out to Zach, my teammate here for this season. He deserves the win probably more than I do for what he did. Uh, and then shout out to all the drivers out there, man. Hopefully, we can surpass 48 for next week.
Well, that will be your winner here tonight in the 13 Hello Kitty machine. Cedric Hunter grabs your Trophy Smack 225 victory. Congratulations, Cedric, and good luck next week at Texas.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you.
Well, we move from victory lane. We go down to second place, where we get to talk to the 7 machine of Douglas Newbigging. Strong performance at moments. Thought maybe victory was in hand, but glides up shy. Douglas, it's Sam and Justin up at the booth. I mean, we talked to you a lot at the end of last season, but man, what a run and performance by your team at Lucky Ducks. How are you feeling coming away with a second place finish?
Nah, pretty good. I mean, could have went a lot worse. um, yeah, kind of just made a little mistake there. Picked the wrong lane coming to the line, and I don't know. Second place, we'll take it. First race for for a speedway track. I'm not typically not the luckiest here, so I'll take that.
Hey, Douglas, Justin up here. Congrats on the second. I believe you and the 70. Did you guys take two tires there at the end? Did you guys coordinate for that,
Yeah,
or
so we planned kind of like me, the 70. Well, our whole team, we took 2 tires because I was figuring out like, okay, we could probably do this and this with fuel calculation and whatnot. So we took two. Um, Worked out pretty good for me in the 70. I know Ed had a little bit of a bad stop, or like what he did with the fuel stuff, did a little differently, cost him a little bit of time. And then obviously Drew was going to be there with us too, but that kind of power went out. Hate to see that. He was definitely going to be up front, top five finish. You know, what I mean, for him, he was definitely going to get easy. Um, yeah, then Brian kind of got messed up a little bit coming before the lap before we pit. He got messed up a little bit, so that sucked for him. But yeah, we kind of planned it out and worked out really good too with the 2 tires. I mean, it was a perfect call in my opinion. Um, Really put us out front. I mean, we were already kind of gonna be out front. I feel like even if we did take four, but I think just taking two really just sealed the deal for me, Ed, and Aaron and Brian getting our spots back and whatnot. So worked out pretty good.
I mean, Douglas, a strong start to the season. I think this is really needed, especially when we look at the way the schedule looks for these first 4 races. How do you, confidence wise, does this help you looking forward to these next 3 races, heading to Texas, Martinsville, Long Beach, and knowing that you had a good start and you're not coming off the back foot?
Mm. So yeah, Texas should be in. Oh, it's Legacy Texas. Oh, I don't like that. I thought it was normal Texas. I'll be honest with you. I was gonna say, oh yeah, it's fine. You know, we could go there all day. I don't know about Legacy Tech. I don't know where did these cars there. Martinsville, I'm pretty decent at. Long Beach, though, I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even buy the track yet, so that's the one that I'm kind of that's gonna be the one where I'm like, all right, I finished 20th. You know, it's a good day for me. But yeah, I mean, this definitely gives me confidence just for Long Beach. Like I said, Long Beach. We got Michigan in the schedule, so I'll win that one. Don't worry about that. Um, I don't know. Makes me feel a little confident. You get the points buffer already building up, and don't have to worry about, 3 lit races in. I can miss qualifying for the Long Beach race either, so that another, thing off my stress, which is nice. I like the tracks coming up. I feel pretty confident.
Well, no, we're
Ever.
excited to see you perform out there, Douglas. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours.
Yeah, man, got a new paint scheme this year. I mean, season. I mean, it looks pretty decent. Looks sharp. So Simrap Market, beautiful scheme. They have this on. By the way, they have this beautiful thing on the A class, B class, C class, and Gen 4 car or ARCA car. You know what I mean? Same exact look, same exact everything. I love this thing first sight, so that's why I picked it up. I told John, I texted him. I was like, hey man, we gotta get this for my car. It was like, all right, sure. So that's why we're running this. Meals on Wheels, great charity. Love those guys. They do a lot of help for the world. RS button boxes, obviously Lucky Ducks. Whole team, Aaron, Ed, Drew, Brian. Sucked that Chris couldn't get in. You know what I mean? Sucked for him, but he'll be here next week. You know what I mean? Or he'll get in next week. I truly believe in him. I believe. So, um, yeah, man. And then Tiltify, everyone who does a great broadcast, freaky fast broadcasting. By the way, huge shout out to you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are best in the business. Love you guys for running a great show. That's why I'm so happy to be back in here because you guys are just. I miss you guys. For the little bit of off season we had, I really missed you guys. So I'm happy to be back. First week, just get it done with already. So
Well, we certainly miss talking to you, Douglas, as well as seeing the amazing racing you perform week in and week out. Congratulations on second, and good luck at Legacy Texas next week.
yeah, thank you, man. Hopefully I'll be back in here next week.
We hope so. Well, that's going to be your second place finisher in the 7 machine of Douglas Newbigging from Lucky Ducks Racing. We're now going to move to third place. We'll get to talk to the 3-time champ of the WSSR Cup Series with Larry Yingling. Larry, you finished third, but did you even think that this was possible with the way that race was coming together there late?
No, I did not. Even when I qualified sixth or eighth, whatever I did, I thought I'll be in the care center by lap 50. Yeah, I was like 10th or 11th, around 10 to go, and I just didn't feel like I had the tires or really just to get up there. Then I went up top, and the seas kind of parted in some places, and I got behind Zach with a few laps to go, and I think he got tight or maybe made contact, and just allowed me to get up to second and try and battle from there.
Larry, Justin up here in the booth. Congrats on the third place finish. I mean, it gets you all those points, which is huge. As you know, 43 drivers out there, over potentially 50 registered. So getting those points right now, knowing that you're a driver that has tremendous talent, does it just kind of take a little bit of weight off those shoulders right now for you for the rest of the season, knowing you got some points right now over a lot of other drivers who are super fast that didn't get those finishes tonight?
Oh, it definitely helps. I was expecting maybe 5 points in this race, and coming out with 40, so it's definitely pretty nice. Hopefully, I have some of the luck tonight into the next races.
I mean, Larry, speaking about this race, we saw you at the tail end of the lead pack. What was your goal? Because we saw you saving a lot of drivers from losing the pack. Or were you just hoping to try to keep as many drivers in the lead group? Or was there a thought at a moment of, well, they're up high, they're losing momentum, I'm just going to let them go?
Uh, it was kind of both. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I just saw them, and I'm like, I'll help them out here, and uh, maybe if I lose it, maybe they'll help me too.
Well, that was kind of what I thought you were trying to do. But overall, Larry, a strong finish here tonight. Congratulations on third. And before we let you go, floor is now yours.
Definitely shout out my teammates this race: Ryan Kelly, along with Brian McCann, James Heater, and Ray Rittenauer. And thanks to my sponsors, Cody Glencock's Music, Port City Cards on Instagram, and DDub0 on TikTok for weight training and nutrition. And shout out to you guys as always for the broadcast, and look forward to next week.
Can't wait for it. That is going to be your third place finisher here tonight in the 67 machine of Larry England. Congratulations on a top three finish, Larry, and good luck next week at Legacy, Texas.
Thank you, sir.
As we move from our third place position, we go down to fifth. We're going to talk to a driver that worked his way through as we have the 71 of Edward Sherwood Jr. Edward, what a run for yourself here tonight. At moments, it looked like it was the you and Drujua show, and then he blinked out. How are you feeling just coming away with fifth after that surprising moment in the middle of this race?
I'm happy with fifth. You know, we had a great Meals on Wheels Camaro tonight. Didn't have the greatest qualifying effort, so we definitely had to make that up with getting some track position twice. I feel like we passed probably the most cars tonight. I don't know if there's a record for that, but I think we're probably close to breaking. But yeah, it was just great. You know, I love super speedway racing and being able to be aggressive right there against a lot of competitive guys. It was fun, and the 71 Camaro was definitely a hot rod, to say the least.
Yeah, congrats on your fifth place finish there. Glad to see you be able to get up there. Like you said, you definitely passed a lot of cars. It was interesting to follow you throughout the night. Tell us and tell the viewers, what do you think the season's going to be with these next gen car versus the other cars that you've been driving? Next gen, something you're in favor for?
Yeah, definitely a big thing I'm favored for. I recommended it doing next gens. I do a lot of next gen racing, honestly, myself. I'm a customer with Team Conti, so I put in my fair share of races every week, so I know basically how to drive this thing around most tracks. So definitely somebody to definitely watch out for when we go through the schedule. And the looks like from looking at the schedule, it definitely plays in my favor with how we start out the first couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to the whole season, and hopefully it can make everyone at Lucky Ducks happy, and hopefully get a team championship and maybe even a driver's championship.
I mean, talking about team here, Edward, I mean, your whole entire Lucky Duck team and affiliate drivers ran so well there late. What was it like in those closing laps, trying to get in line with other teammates and just trying to place yourself for the best finish you could?
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of communication. Thankfully, you know, me and Doug and Brian have been teammates for a while now. We were teammates last season, and bringing on Drew and Aaron there, both really competitive guys on their own cycle. So we really do have a competitive team this year at Lucky Ducks. Not like we haven't in recent years, but you know, we definitely have a fun time. We had a fun time tonight. We had a couple laughs in there, and some of us weren't used to each other, but we made work of it. We knew when we were pitting. We knew what to do with the adjustments and wise, and just playing out towards the end there. I just got a little too tight there in the end with the two-tire call, and I couldn't get Doug push clear Cedric there, and I got stuck middle three wide with John on the top. But luckily, we still got great team finishes out of the Lucky Ducks camp. So I'm just happy to come away with the top five, honestly.
Well, I want to say thank you for giving us one of the most entertaining teams to watch here tonight on some of the big moves that you guys were willing to take. Congratulations on a top five finish, and now the floor is yours for any more shout-outs.
Yeah, I just want to thank John Peel. He's the leader of Lucky Ducks and able to make us do this every weekend. Thanks to Meals on Wheels, Tiltify. We got Button Boxes, SimWrap Market for making my paint scheme. You can go get it on simwrapmarket.com now if you want to run this paint scheme. And just everybody that supports Lucky Ducks and supports the league, and you guys for broadcasting it. I'm gonna tune in later and probably rewatch it. So thanks to you guys for doing the show, and hopefully give you another good one next week.
We cannot wait for next week. That is going to be your 5th place finisher here tonight in the 71 machine of Edward Schroer Jr. Congratulations on your finish here, Edward, and good luck next week at Legacy, Texas.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you.
As we move away from our interviews, I want to say a quick thank you again to the amazing sponsor here for the WSSR Cup Series, being Trophy Smack. If you have never heard about Trophy Smack, well, it's your one-stop shop. Go get yourself some incredible championship trophies, belts, rings, and more. The more being Wall Smack. Wall Smack's a metal plate that you can go get yourself your own custom image on a wall plate that you can place on your wall with their wall-safe magnet mounting system, or you can get their stand to place it on your desk or shelf in a safe manner. Remember, when purchasing at Wall Smack, use the promo code WSSR Smack for 10% off. Thank you so much to Trophy Smack and to all of you that watched with us as we bring up our unofficial results. What a race. 150 laps concluded. Didn't need overtime. Only a total of 2 cautions, one being an on-race incident, and then our stage yellow, and it's Cedric Hunter taking the win. Douglas Newbigging will fall to 2nd, Larry Yingling 3rd, Aaron Smith the 2nd, gonna finish 4th. 5th is Edward Schroer Jr. Trenton Jump, he'll finish in 6th. Zach Hall 7th. 8th is Vincent Sora. John Forbes Jr. gonna be in 9th, and Tom Sinjek finishing out our top 10. We'll let the rest of this leaderboard cycle their way through. But Justin, what a race we got to see here tonight.
And with the amount of drivers, you're just looking, we didn't even get a chance to talk about all these guys. There's so many names out here, but look at some of these guys in the back. And Nick Crawford, we didn't really get to talk to him too much, but we know he has great speed. Look at that, Chris Norris down in 19th, driver that definitely going to be fast in these road courses coming up. Anthony Gaudio, we didn't get to mention. Brian McCann, though, how about that, Sam? 22nd, the guy who we think could contend for the championship this year. We didn't really get to see him much of him tonight.
No, we didn't. There were a couple of drivers. Ryan Kelly also didn't really get to touch on him very often, but he finished inside of the top 20. But I think the ultimate big driver of note, Drew Jua, had been disconnected, loss of power. That is highly unfortunate for the 77, who, based off if he continues at the pace and rate that he was going today, he could be the rookie to watch out for Rookie of the Year and trying to take a championship for the Season 9 season. But man, another thing to note, want to say thank you to all the drivers that showed up for tonight's race. 48 drivers showed up to try to make the featured event. Only 43 could do so. We want to say thank you to Tyler Dangler, Richard Wolsifer, Ethan Smith, Carl Puller, and Christopher Fail. I know they weren't able to make the race, but we hope to see them back next week at Legacy, Texas for another chance to make the featured race.
Can't wait to see what happens next week, but look at this. We got the rest of the schedule coming out for all these great races, great series. Monday night, ISRC LAP Truck Series.
Yeah, that's going to be the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series on Monday nights. This upcoming Monday, though, they are taking it off for Memorial Weekend, so hopefully you enjoy your amazing racing weekend. And also want to say thank you to all the troops that have served in the military to allow us to have the chance to do the broadcast and also have sim racing here. Tuesdays, we are free. If you have a chance, have a league that you'd like for us to broadcast here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, get in contact with us here on Facebook or on X/Twitter for Freaky Fast Broadcasting to see if we can cover your leagues on Tuesday. Wednesday, as you saw here tonight, season has begun for the WSSR Cup Series. This upcoming Thursday and next Thursday, the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series is off. Can't wait for them to be back to racing action for the Open Setup Next Gen Series. That's been a fun one to watch on Thursday nights. But Justin, first race, it is in the books. It was a crazy one from top to bottom, from qualifying to the end of the race. It was still wide open on who was going to win this race, and ultimately it went to Hello Kitty.
The most important thing, 43 drivers, almost a caution-free race. These guys were respectful, but yet raced hard. You can't ask for anything else in a huge league. I mean, what we saw tonight just makes you want to watch every week, and I can't wait to bring it to these viewers week in and week out.
Cannot wait to continue with this great racing action, as our next race will be next week for the Legacy Texas race. But for tonight, I want to say thank you to everyone that joined with us. If you haven't already, please like the stream if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribing, as this is your home for the WSSR Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series and the ISRC Truck Series. We would love to have everyone be able to subscribe and be notified when we go live. Hit that bell notification after subscribing so that you're notified every time we're live or we upload a video. But for tonight, thank you for joining with us on your Wednesday evening. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Justin Malarkey, Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you for watching the first race of Season 9 for the WSSR Cup Series. Your winner is the 13 machine, Cedric Hunter. Congratulations on taking the Trophy Smack 225 and punching your ticket to the playoffs. But for all the other drivers, settle in, get ready. Still a long season, and next week doesn't get any easier. As we go to another mile and a half, it's Legacy, Texas for our next Freaky Fast broadcast.